repented from their terrorist ways. Only in Nigeria. There is nowhere else in the world. And according to the wise man, or a wise man once said, there is no repentant terrorist anywhere. The only repentant terrorist is a dead terrorist. Not in Nigeria. In Nigeria, some ragtag criminals, politically backed terrorists, they group themselves in the name of their Allah, that they are fighting for their Allah, and therefore the vulnerable people, the poor people, have been subjected to the lifetime of horror, terrorism. The one that the supposed government arm from northern part of Nigeria should have ordinarily quickly nib in the bud. They decided to politicize it and use it for their own political advantage. The amount of, or the number of people killed by these animals doesn't really count. The amount of lives they've destroyed, the amount of villages or the number of villages that they have ransacked and destroyed, including the economy of northern Nigeria that they have ruined, does not really count to these mofos called the northern governors. Every time that the chance creates or presents itself to go after these terrorists, their emirs, their sultan, which is the Sultan of Sokoto, as well as other emirs, the political class, they will quickly begin their clandestine moves by saying that they want a non-kinetic approach because these guys are just misguided, their brothers of theirs. It got so bad that not only that they have been draining the resources of Nigeria, a very scarce resources, in the fight against terrorism. The fight against terrorism has become so much like a joke in truest sense of it. A total joke where the terrorist sponsor are also people in government, both in Abuja and in different states of northern Nigeria. So the celebration of a repentant terrorist in Nigeria seems to have become a national pride. It all started during the time of Bukuwari, the Fulani lifeless mannequin from Daura, when they opened a secret door with no law backing it. Despite all the havoc that these criminals have wreaked, Bukuwari's government and the military of that era, they made an arrangement called Operation Safe Corridor. Operation Safe Corridor for terrorists. And over the years, thousands of murderous Fulani terrorists, Boko Haram terrorists were freed back into the society. And this is not just a stain on the supposed the military, who have lost more of their men to these terrorists in the last 10 years alone. We've had over 15,000 Nigerian soldiers either killed or injured. That means like disabled. Some of them have lost legs, arms, and some, majority have lost their lives. 15,000 soldiers, either dead or disabled by these terrorists, or the fake war against terrorism. While the political class will quickly put up a show to celebrate the graduating repentant terrorist. Now, you see, the saddest part of this whole thing is that you will think a country or a region that pride itself to have freed over 200,000 repentant terrorists would have had a sort of a success where the terrorism would have become so abated, like it would have probably died down now. Imagine having over 200,000 Allah soldiers surrendered and renounced terrorism by just holding the Quran. Shouldn't that be significant enough to have reduced the terrorism in northern Nigeria and also in the rest of Nigeria? But rather than the terrorism to reduce, in northern Nigeria, it has now become an industry, a very massive industry, where terrorists are now controlling territories, where Nigerians from that part of Nigeria have been subjected to the rule or laws of terrorists. We now have areas called ungoverned areas in Nigeria, most especially in northern part of Nigeria, areas where the Nigerian soldiers dare not tread, they dare not go to. In fact, the presence of Nigeria as a country, as a government, as a sovereignty, no longer exists in these areas. Nigerians are subjected to be paying taxes to these terrorists, most of them who are actually not even Nigerians. They are not from Nigeria. But the political class loves it because it gives them a bit of a leverage over the power, the power sharing in that contraption. They have been able to get away with it many times. The governors will tell you that they lack power to protect their people because the military is controlled by the federal government. However, they are the forefront of celebrating or releasing the repentant terrorists back into the society. It is such like, it's more or less like an agenda for them. And to some, an achievement. In Borno State, in Nigeria, half of the state is no longer under Nigeria as we speak. Half of Borno State is controlled by different kind of terrorists. From Boko Haram to ISWAP, ISWAP 1, ISWAP 2, to Lakurawa, to Fulani terrorists, and so many other terrorists that we don't even know their names, operating in that part of Nigeria today. Out of 27 or 28 local government areas in Borno State, only 7 or 8 of them actually exist. The rest, they exist in name. They don't really exist as an entity anymore. And this has been kept away from the rest of Nigeria. If you go to Niger State, where Babangida lives, where Abdul Salami also lives, half of the state is also controlled by terrorists. In fact, it became so, so ridiculous that the state government is making deals, right, with terrorists. Please, we want to harvest, we want to plant this season, or we want to harvest now. Can you give us the permission to? This arrangement exists inside Nigeria as we speak today. If you go to Zamfara State, the story is the same. The terrorists are having field day. If you go to Sokoto, where the Satan of Sokoto lives, these terrorists also control almost half of the state as we speak. If you go to Katsina, Katsina State is where Boko Haram comes from, right? At a point, they had to smuggle him out of Daura because of the incessant attacks. In fact, when Boko Haram was their presidiot in that contraption, the head of Daura, which is like the village head of Daura, got kidnapped. They had to pay ransom to get him freed. So the tolerance for these terrorists in northern Nigeria has kind of put Nigeria on the map as a terrorist country today. And guess what? They are not ashamed of that. So, 2 days ago, there was this report from Kaduna. When Kaduna Littlefinger was their governor, Southern Kaduna got so terrorized that it actually became more or less like the APC, Egbe's, one of their manifestos, to bring back the Fulani terrorists that the people, the locals, fought and bled to chase out of their lands. But immediately, in 2015, immediately after El Rufai became their governor, he went all over West Africa, he went all over Africa, according to him, to bring back these murderous terrorists. And it didn't take long. 6 months after El Rufai became their governor, Southern Kaduna became a bloodbath zone. It got so bad that they were killing their head. Adara of Adara Kingdom in Southern Kaduna was lured to the Kaduna State Government House in Kaduna for a meeting with the governor. He was there for a day or two, but El Rufai never saw him. So what happened after? They told him to go back. On his way back to his kingdom, Adara was waylaid halfway to his kingdom, he was kidnapped. Adara of the Adara kingdom can be likened to, I'm a Yoruba man, right? Can be likened to the, to the position of the Alaafin of Oyo, the position of the likes of, Awujale of Ijebu land. That's the kind of, that's the level of that king. He got kidnapped. His wife, they raped his wife repeatedly. Then they killed him. When they killed him, they brought his body to the footpaths very close to his kingdom for his people to see him, a first-class royal father. El Rufai and his gang, they did nothing. Guess what? They started, the Fulani terrorists, they started the attack on his kingdom, and little by little, they were chasing people out of their communities, and most of the communities where people were chased away by these terrorists, they were renamed as caliphates. And up to this moment, the terrorists still operate in Kaduna. So when Ubasani put up his own show, like the Zulum of Borno, who prides himself of freeing 160,000 repentant terrorists in his own state. So for them in Kaduna, it is a win-win. The terrorists have surrendered. They have repented. There is no repentant terrorist. The only repentant terrorist is a dead terrorist. Maybe not in Nigeria. Let's start from there, from Kaduna.
So a few weeks ago, these people have released over 100 people that they have captured. And they have also, wherever there is anybody among them who feels he can do without them, they dealt with him. They are protecting us, they are protecting themselves.
Speaking to the gathering, Governor Basani highlighted the crucial role of the peace dialogue in resolving conflicts, noting that the state is developing a robust framework for sustainable peace and security.
This model will include disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration, alongside investment in rural development and conflict resolution. It is a holistic approach that addresses both the symptoms and the root causes of insecurity.
He emphasized
Through
that
numerous
his
meetings and
administration
extensive
will not
discussions,
take firm action against anyone who refuses to abandon violent activities.
Several senior bandits leaders have laid down their arms and embraced peace, along with their followers. Our approach is based on principle of carrot and stick. When we welcome those who choose peace, we will not hesitate to take decisive action against anyone who continues to perpetuate violence.
So a few weeks ago,
This is the problem. Terrorists are never held responsible for all their actions. According to these guys, who we believe are the ones who also armed these terrorists. Once they lay down their weapons, we can throw parties for them. No responsibility. There is no punishment for all they have done. In fact, it is a pride that they have released some of their captives. So let's celebrate for peace. But since they have been doing the repentant terrorists, Operation Safe Corridor, for the past 8 years now, rather than for terrorism to reduce, it keeps growing, escalating, where in some places, they are actually giving them billions of naira in this northern Nigeria. So that governor was on a rise, I think earlier today, and he was asked, how does this actually solve the insecurity? When those who chooses, right, who chose to kind of start killing people, kidnapping people for ransom, are never punished. And the word there is that since they have said they won't do it again, let us just embrace peace. The type of peace that these criminals are foisting on the rest of Nigeria. Really listen to his response.
Does it mean that these bandits have totally been forgiven of all their crimes?
No, I'm not talking about forgiving or not forgiving. But of course, as a governor, when you're elected by a people, you listen to what the people want. Like I said, we sat down with the people of Benangwari local government, at the Premier of Benangwari, who have been part of this process. He's someone that have been witnessing this very unfortunate incident in the last 10 years. And he was a person who actually welcomed this development. And as a governor, for me, the most important agenda of our government is protect the lives and properties of all. That is what I said. The approach is not just about forgiving people, not forgiving.
It's about forgiving them. There's never been any trial of a terrorist in Nigeria since APC, Ebekebe, came to power in Nigeria. Oh, we used to have them. I mean, the Nigerian police, so Nigerian security agents, they used to arrest some of the masterminds of all this act of terrorism in Nigeria. But it's been a long time you last saw that. Now we have to embrace them. We have to accommodate our killers. We have to get used to them. We must stop being Fulani-phobia. We must stop being terrorist phobia. We shouldn't have phobia for terrorists and murderers. They have gaslighted us, blackmailed us as much as they watched us being kidnapped and slaughtered by these Sahelian terrorists that invaded Nigeria. The Zamfara governor, who is the current guy, Lawal, raised an alarm. He raised an alarm last year. According to him, they put in an effort in Zamfara to go after these terrorists. And then successfully, they apprehended some of them in an operation that was coordinated by the states without the involvement of the federal. And they succeeded. Because according to him, some of these, in quote, bandits, these terrorists, they are known locally in Zamfara. Their parents are known. So when it was time to clamp down on them, they knew exactly where to find them. But immediately they got them picked up. I mean, they had to present them to the judiciary. It was the turn of the judiciary to actually apply the law. What did the judiciary do? They freed them. He granted he actually also accused the current Minister for Defense, State Defense, Bello Patawale. Now, Bello Patawale, when Isa pandemic, how do I put this story together for you to really understand the sequence, okay? Before we got to this part, right? When Bokwari was the president, a terrorist sympathizer called Isa Pantami or Isa Pandemiki, a well-known, documented terrorist sympathizer, was appointed Minister of Communication. His job was to tap our communication networks. Your mobile phone, your text messages, your emails, your voice notes, your WhatsApp. They publicized it. They brought in an equipment that they said was worth over 24 billion naira. 24 billion naira equipment installed to jam your WhatsApp, because WhatsApp was supposed to be an encrypted means of communication, end-to-end encryption. Nobody should be able to hack WhatsApp, but that is your own. They can hack it. They procure a supposed equipment that could jam all communications in Nigeria, just at least to what? To track communications of terrorists. How do you make a terrorist sympathizer the Minister of Communication to monitor communication of Nigerians, including that of the terrorists? Guess what happened? Under these criminals, terrorism kind of gained more foothold. terrorists will be using the phone number, the phones of their victims that they kidnapped to communicate with the families. But the Nigerian government, the Nigerian Communication Ministry, they are unable to track these people. Sometimes they will leave them for weeks, days, weeks, until the ransom is paid. Meanwhile, in Zamfara state, a state that is led by active terrorists as well. So the governor before Patawale is a minister right now. I can't remember his name right away. Yari, that's his name, Yari. He put together his own terror group so that they could help him chase the people away from some communities where he was mining uranium and other precious minerals in Zamfara, right? And that was his own source of money. So when Bello Patawale became the governor, he wanted his own mine too. So he put together a program. He called it the repentant terrorist as well, something like this. That was when the likes of Bello Turuji, this other guy, something Tafe or whatever his name is called. I'm going to look for that name. It's important. Okay. Yeah, his name is Ya Dotun or something. Sorry. Ado Alero. That's the name. That's the guy that his picture is in that thumbnail for this program on YouTube, right? Ado Alero. Bello Turuji. So that was when he brought them together as repentant terrorists. What he was doing was putting his own group together that would help him secure the communities where they were able to mine gold. To cover it up, he decided to say Zamfara is now producing gold, and he, Patawale, as their governor, will now help them keep the gold in Dubai. Up till now, Zamfara gold, nobody knows what Patawale did with that. So fast forward to last year, when Patawale got defeated by Lawal. So that one now came and said, oh, what I found on ground is so terrible. Can you believe that the governor of this state was actually funding terrorists? And he disguised it as repentant terrorist. This is not me. Oh. This was the guy, Lawal, the guy that succeeded Patawale. But rather than for Patawale to be arrested for his crime, Tinubu appointed him as Minister of Defense to come and protect me and you from terrorists. The person that is responsible for the insecurity in his own state is appointed as Federal Minister of Defense to protect us from the terrorists they hired. He denied it. He said, oh, I swore by Holy Quran. I was the only governor from northern Nigeria that swore by the Holy Quran that I had nothing to do with terrorism. And that makes him like innocent, like honest. Bello Patawale was buying cars, was giving cash to repentant terrorists. Some of these terrorists, right, as Patawale freed them, they were driving all these Elox pickup trucks, right, to the communities where they ransacked and killed people. Those who lost their loved ones in the hands of these terrorists, Bello Turuji and co. They were seeing these terrorists cruising in a pickup truck given to them by the state governor because they repented. Yeah, because they repented. So Lawal said when they took all these guys to court, the court released all of them. All of them. Order from above. And he pointed the fingers, not somewhere else. He pointed it straight directly to his predecessor, Bello Patawale. He denied. He said Lawal is trying to cover up his failure as governor. That's why he's blaming him for the insecurity in Zamfara. So all the things the guy said, nobody acted on it. Today, Patawale is a minister in Nigeria. And this is his recent interview with the BBC on the matter. Listen, that is Lawal.
Can do overnight. But
yet you made promises to the people of immediate change. And
we're
so
on that.
I'm the one who's here on their behalf.
We are on
you
that promise. And that is
questions.
why I told you the rate of insecurity has reduced drastically in the state.
What I'm curious about is a statement that you made in a recent TV interview where you said that you know where the bandits are in Zamfara.
Absolutely.
You know where they live.
Absolutely.
You know their parents, etc. Why have they not been apprehended?
Well, you see, this is some of the complication. Like I said earlier, these people are not foreigners. These people are Zamfara State indigenes.
The bandits?
Absolutely. They were born and bred in Zamfara State. So we live with them. We know who they are. It's a very straightforward thing. And we are the people that can take care of that. And that is why we're making a conscious effort to make sure security is given number one priority. But also, we look at other factors. What are those causes of insecurity? People are idle. Let me say this to you. Zamfara State is a population of about 6 million people. More than 70% of that population are young men and women. And these guys are idle, doing nothing. They don't go to school. So what do you expect? Crime to go on. So part of the reason, part of the measures to address those issues is to understand the root causes. And that is why we had to declare state of emergency in education to make sure these people are educated. And when they're educated, they are taken care of. And when they graduate, they have something doing.
The former governor of the state is now in the national government, in the federal government, as a defense minister.
Absolutely.
And you know where the bandits are.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to put two and two together. You know where they are.
Yes.
You should potentially have an ally.
Absolutely.
In a seat as well as a defense minister.
Absolutely.
Why can't you smoke out these bandits so that we discuss a different issue?
Let me tell you why it is difficult for a state to do certain things. Yes, in theory, state governors are chief security officers of their state. But in reality, we don't have control over the security forces. And therefore, we have to rely on federal government. Now, we're doing that.
Are you working with the defense minister?
Defense, well, there's a minister of defense, there's a junior minister. The senior minister recently was in Zamfara to discuss the security challenges the state is facing. So there's collaboration between the state and the federal government. But what I'm saying is we need to make conscious effort to be able to address this issue because, like I said, these people, we know who they are, we know where they live, we know their parents. So why is it difficult handling them? That is the $1 million question.
I hope you have the answer. Why is it difficult handling them?
Well, we're doing the best we can within the limited resources, within my limitation as a governor.
Okay, and I'm sorry I'm taking you step by step. These are issues you deal with every day. Have you handed over those locations and names to the authorities within a certain time and they have not gotten back?
We have security report on a daily basis in terms of the movement of these bandits. But like I said, I'm not the man who will give the control or the order to be able to. I have to rely on the security forces of the federal government. Can do overnight.
Are you following? Yeah. Do you get it now? You get it? If you don't get it, forget about it.
You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it.
This is how they are playing people with. This is how they are playing with people's lives. Okay? The entire chain of command is compromised and so corrupt. And then the people's lives is at stake. And there is little I can say. We know these guys, we know about their movements, but we can't really do anything because of the people that are supposed to do something. They are not doing anything because they are the ones sponsoring them. It is as simple as that. They are the ones sponsoring them. You are at the mercy of terrorists in the contraption. I'm talking about terrorists. Here, yesterday, the news broke that the Nigerian army had arrested and detained an investigative journalist, Fisayo Shoyombo. And it wasn't really that difficult for those of us who knows the work of Shoyombo as an investigative journalist, that if he is found in the midst of oil bunkers, then he is doing a piece on them. So how could the Nigerian army detain him for 3 days without announcing that they had him until the news broke? Eventually they let him go. These are the other uniformed, in Nigeria they have the non-uniformed terrorists, the Boko Haram, the ISWAP, the Fulani terrorists, and name it, the Lakurawas and the rest of them. But there are also the faction which has the uniformed terrorists, the Nigerian army, Nigeria police, the DSS, the NIA, the CNN, the MTN, because they have different names for themselves. You go to hear NIA, DSS, NPF, NA, MTN, Airtel, these funny names. As many as they are, they cannot keep anybody protected. You're on your own. So the Nigerian army had an investigative journalist in their detention until they blew the lid on that, and they had to let him go quickly. And what was that? Nigeria has been dealing with oil thieves. And you cannot, I've said it too, I've said this before, stealing of Nigeria crude oil is not the same as you or me carrying a koroba pail or bucket to go and start, and then a chisel as well as the hammer to come do to tap a hole in a pipeline, crude oil pipeline, and begin to fetch crude oil. That is not for us. You see, those who are stealing the Nigerian crude oil, they are also the same people who are supposed to actually protect the crude oil, the Nigerian government. Imagine stealing what you are meant to protect. Double jeopardy. The Nigerian Navy cannot keep the Nigeria waterways safe. They are there. They bought them equipment to patrol the waterways of Nigeria. But guess what? They are not doing that. They would rather be protecting and guiding crude oil vessels that came to steal crude oil in Nigeria. Nigerian Navy, they will use their equipment and everything to guide the stolen crude oil out of Nigeria water and wave to them and say, bye-bye, you. Safe journey, see you next time. The Nigerian army, who are supposed to also protect these national assets, they themselves, they are shooting at themselves on who should protect oil thieves more because of what they will get. The Nigerian custom, who are supposed to protect us from contraband and other stuff that shouldn't enter the country, no, they are the ones in bed with smugglers. The Nigerian immigration, who are supposed to identify, give us identity of those who are coming into the country or those who are leaving the country, no, they are not. They are the ones working for the human traffickers. Name it. The Nigeria police, who are supposed to protect us from violent crimes and the rest of that, they are the ones selling weapons, selling ammunition to the same violent gangs. The Document Stupid Service, the DSS, who are supposed to detect the crime before it even happened at all. No, they are not doing that. They are looking for who is saying something about the criminal politicians online. They can track you anytime, any day, even if you are using an anonymous identity on social media. They will track you, but they cannot track the criminals who are the kidnappers, the terrorists who are kidnapping our people, who are slaughtering our people, who are ransacking villages, they can't do that. It is always the opposite of what they are set up for, to the point that militants are now the ones collecting the contract to protect the Nigerian pipeline in Nigeria, where they have the Nigerian Navy, Nigeria Air Force, Nigeria Police, Nigeria DSS, Nigeria NIA, Nigeria MTN, Nigeria Econet, and all these people, all these funny names. You are not safe. So, Fisayo is doing a piece on them, and he said he didn't trust the Nigerian army. So therefore, he didn't alert them beforehand. So that day that they came, it was because they smelled something was off. So the ones that they paid to look away, the ones that the oil bunkers paid to look away, they sensed that something was off. So they didn't show up. They sent another set that were not paid. Fisayo was out, and it was on Arise News yesterday, Arise TV yesterday, to share his story. You can watch the rest of this interview on the Arise TV YouTube. You can see the full interview the full conversation on YouTube. But here is a part of it where Fisayo told us what really happened between himself and this uniformed terrorist of Nigeria. Please.
Into the oil business that you are now picked. What really happened? Give us the details. Let's know what happened.
So I think everyone other than the Nigerian army already knows what happened. I'm an investigative and undercover journalist. I was investigating illegal oil bunkering. It happened that, it's a complex story. It happened that someone in the security setup was offended that he didn't get bribed, because the illegal bunkers would bribe people in security. For now, I don't want to, be specific, but it would bribe. And one got annoyed and tipped off others to say, something is happening there. So they came. Everyone else ran away other than me. I came forward and had an interaction with them. So one, there was no arrest. The Nigerian army did not arrest me.
They didn't?
No, they did not arrest me.
But you were in their custody?
They spotted me, flashed their torch, and I came out. And I wanted to open a conversation with them.
You showed them your ID?
I didn't show them my ID because the illegal bunkers had said they had settled everyone, and the guys who came were the ones who were not settled, and the conversation was going on to settle them. So I just thought it was a settlement conversation, and I came forward. So they did not arrest me. I came forward. It's not like they chased me. They didn't get anyone. All the other guys, fled into the bush. But I stayed because at the end of the day, I knew I had nothing to hide. The grouse of the army, the real grouse of the army, one, is that I did not carry them along. I won't deny that I have low trust for Nigerian public institutions. A small 2-minute diversion. Last year, I did an undercover investigation on an orphanage home that was selling babies. I bought a newborn baby with 2 million naira, took the baby to NAPTIP. I looked after that baby. After I handed the baby over to NAPTIP, I sent a representative. We go there every month. Our birthday, we bought gifts. Christmas, we woke up one day. NAPTIP shut the door on us. The former DG of, I'm saying it on national TV.
Absolutely.
Farida was the last DG of NAPTIP. She has to answer the question, what happened to that? I brought that baby. I just wanted to, keep up with the progress of that baby. And one day, NAPTIP just shut the door. We just got there and they said, you can't see the baby. So how do you expect someone like me to trust public institutions? So I didn't trust the army. I didn't carry them along. But I'd also known that illegal oil bunkers were bribing different people in various security formations. And I would endanger my life by carrying them along if I didn't know who was who. So that's the first problem they had, that you were doing this story and you did not involve us. Now, I have been vindicated because I spent 3 days in military. Everything I told the highest levels of the army, the illegal bunkers were telling me when I left. You get, when they picked me up, it was around 2 a.m. We were in the bush until maybe 4, 5. A soldier stole my 2 phones. The army, I'm saying it on air, I have to fish out that soldiers and punish him. You can't arrest people and then your man is stealing. And when we left, they took me to a camp, a military camp close to that place. We were there till afternoon, until about 3 p.m. I did not say a word about who I was, because I felt it was too general a place to make that kind of statement. They all felt I was an illegal oil bunkerer, and I played along until they took me to 6 Div. And I thought from then, I was speaking with people in offices who were investigating the case. That's when I said, look, I'm actually an undercover journalist. This is proof. But everything I told them, the things I wrote in my statement, as I got out yesterday, illegal oil brokers were telling me, who are you? We thought you were one of us. Now, this is what they said you are. This is who they said you are. They said you are a detective. You are an undercover journalist. Is it true? So, was I not right by not carrying the army along? Because how can you grill me at the 6th Div? And every single thing I told you, I got out yesterday and the illegal workers were telling me every single thing. And they made no mistakes. They were on point.
Isaiah, let's talk about press freedom and investigative journalism.
If you try to say you want to do the right thing, that's a shithole. Your life will be snatched from you like that. How many of you remember that video of the customs informants whose identities were released to the smugglers, and the smugglers went for these informants and beat them bloody? I don't know if probably they killed them. So they put the video on the internet. Fisayo, who acted like he said, he played along to the point that even when he was arrested, he still never disclosed who he was. But when he finally told them who he was, immediately he got released. Everything he told them, they relayed them back to these bunkers who thought he was one of them. People were supposed to arrest criminals, stop oil bunkering, all right? But they are more upset that they were not bribed than to stop the crime. And guess who they are ready to sacrifice? The one that think is doing us a favor. When Fisayo was releasing details of smugglers in Nigeria on social media, the same impoverished, criminally minded Nigerians, they were on his social media handle attacking him, abusing him, threatening him. Their hand goes, who touch you? Who sent you? Who sent you all these things you are doing? You are destroying people's livelihood. Well, why do you want to take food from people's mouth? All these things that you are, is the smuggler our problem? Why don't you go and expose the politician? Leave the smugglers alone. They are just trying to survive. Everybody in Nigeria is too hard. You are just destroying people's businesses. Go and report politician. Go and shake the same Nigerians. Because Nigerians don't really hate criminals. Many Nigerians don't hate crime or criminals. They don't hate corruption. They don't hate oppression. What they don't really like is when they are not the ones benefiting from that corruption, benefiting from that oppression. That is when you will see them as, oh, I mean, you are making sense, so, my brother, man, people like you are supposed to be our leader. Irony, Babanga Iro. Majority of Nigerians don't hate criminals. They don't hate crime. And that is why if if you are a regular user of social media, you can see their countenance, their body languages when it comes to exposing criminals. They will come for you. Even if you expose the criminal politicians too, they will come for you. They would say that, say, if na you nko, if na you will not do it. If na you nko, meanwhile you that is exposing people, are you a saint? Are you innocent? What the hell is going on? And that's why they say, if you say you want to go and fight for Nigerians, you are either an idiot or you are a mumu, or you probably have a mental health problem too. Don't dare fight for Nigerians. It is one of the most stupid things anybody. You see, there are people who have this savior mentality. Say, I cannot take any nonsense. I cannot. Shut up. If you want to fight for Nigerians, then you would what? Have to use one hand. Don't use two hands. You will be using one hand to fight the oppressors. Then you will be using the second hand to protect yourself from the oppressed. The oppressed that are going to be stoning you. They will be stabbing you. They will be, you will become bloody from behind. Because they will be saying, who sent you? Now who sent you? You are not fighting for me. You are fighting for yourself. All of you are the same. They will say it to your face. They say you are all the same. And that's why I've told a lot of you here. If you don't fight for yourself, get the hell, get out of here, man. So I'm fighting for who? If you are not ready to fight for what you believe in, for your rights, get out of here. Get out of here. Can go and look for those who have this savior mentality. I want to save the world. I want to save this or that. They will stab you to death. Isayo could have been killed. All they had to do, the moment they discovered him, is to kind of release him and let him go back into the midst of those oil bunkers. And then they will release his details to them. And he will disappear like that. He will not even see his body. So when I look at the whole story, I'm like, guy, you are lucky. I know you put your life on the line many times, but this particular one, you are lucky. If one single person out of those army kind of recognized you on day one, they will release you back and then alert this bunker as that guy undercover investigative journalist. If they record all the things they do, if they cover them, and we will never see Fisayo again. He will probably be dead. You won't see his body. You will not hear the end of the story. That is Nigeria. So it is an entirely systemic flaw, as in it takes more of selflessness to some level and some level of craze. Like you must be crazy to put yourself and put your life on the line because you are in Koto fighting for my fatherland. We need to cleanse this land. Where are you going to start from? And that's why they're like, you need to actually be crazy to say you want to go and face the system. I give credit to him. I say everyone who is standing up to that level. It's really, really incredible. All right. But it would have made much, much, much sense if the citizens that this whole expose, here you get now. Look at what Davido have done for us. Look at what expose Charade have done for us. Look at what this Shoyombo guy they've done for us. These guys have done so much to keep us mentally alerted, awake, alive, to face these oppressors. But rather than not react collectively to end this madness, what have we done? We have protected these criminals even more. We have questioned the credibility of these guys. We have called for their heads on the spike. We have asked these oppressors to get rid of them or kill them. That is what Nigerians have done. If you look at what these guys have really exposed about Nigeria, and the reason is not far-fetched, because your criminal leaders, they are the reflection of the criminal citizens, criminally minded citizens. Majority of them that are worse, even more worse than the criminals you call their leaders in that contraption. Makes it really, really sad. You know? Part of his story was that he bought a newborn baby for 2 million naira. Do you know they trade in babies in Nigeria? This is not an adoption process, anything, just where young girls are impregnated and their children are sold from birth. They never see those children again. Ritualists are buying children. Other people are buying children, where people will actually disguise and pretend that they are pregnant. And the girl that is pregnant is somewhere in a place living in squalor. It's like a breeding ground. The same way they are breeding animals is how they are breeding children all over Nigeria, where the children are sold like they are selling chicken. A completely collapsed system where they all worship money. It's all about money. Need money. And there is no one to report to. There's no institutions to actually come after them. No. I told you yesterday that the what do you call them? Okay, I'm going to come to that after anyway. So the news we have received right now is coming from the Punch that the Port Harcourt Refinery has finally shut down. The scam has run its course. I was expecting this to last for at least maybe a month or two, but unfortunately it only lasted for 2 days. Now they said they are doing calibration of the refinery that they told you have started working. They are doing calibration of their pump machine, calibration of and because of that, it has now shut down. The party is over.
You know, at the point, even as a public affairs analyst and as a watcher of the industry, I find it difficult to know what to believe. Was it all propaganda? Because even the Mr. President himself weighed in congratulating the NFPC for achieving a feat. And if you watch the clips that we saw earlier on by the Minister of Finance while in France, you know, he was celebrating the fact that Nigeria has, you know, Nigeria has achieved significant milestone in local refining of crude oil. You know, that it has not happened in the last 30 years, because I listened to him that this is the first time that is happening in about 30 years. So seeing this cover in the Punch is a big slap to all of us. It's a shock. Let it not be that what the NNPCL has been feeding us with in the last 1 week is all propaganda. I hope it's not true. But again, it's worrisome when it comes to the controversy surrounding, you know, the attempt for Nigeria to have a competitive. Dangote is working. You know, we ask why is the state-owned refinery is not working. You know, if they are working, it creates a competitive environment that leads to energy security and fair pricing of petroleum products, which all Nigerians hope for. But with this story, it is worrisome. And I hope NNPCL should be able to put a light to it.
It's definitely worrisome, but what do we think about the prioritization of propaganda as opposed to laying down the foundations for real results? And what could have happened within a few days with Port Harcourt Refinery, Doctor?
Yeah, that is the confusion. You know, I'm just coming across this story for the first time, and I'm shocked that, and I want to believe that Punch, as a newspaper, a respected one for that matter, has or would have done his own homework before he ran this story on it.
What shall I say unto the Lord?
Yes, Lord.
All I have to say,
Thank you, Lord.
What shall I say?
Thank you,
They said, now bad belly they do us for asking questions which we automatically know that or we know the answer to. And then the conclusion was that this is a scam. They said now because we get bad belly, it's because we didn't want Nigeria, we don't like good news. So scam is good news. Propaganda is good news. Lies is good news in the country of APC. Egbekegbe. Propaganda, lies, deceit. I mean, I said it on this platform that sometimes I actually really wanted some of their lies to be truth myself, but there is nothing anybody can do to turn a lie to truth. It's not possible. It's not going to happen. If wishes were horses, beggars will ride, is what they say. But wishes don't build countries. Wishes don't fix a collapsed economy. Lies don't build or make a refinery work. If your refinery is working, nobody even need they don't even need adverts. The price of the petroleum products in Nigeria will tell and say, I mean, this one is refined locally. That is why a liter is 500 naira. That one that is being sold for 900 naira, for 1,000 naira, they are imported. So that's the difference. That is what it should be like. No propaganda, no media, this and that. But they lied to you. You are not even offended. Like by me now. Eh? Like if somebody lied to me and I discover that they lied to me, I will be mad. I'll be angry. But these Ronukus are not angry. They are not mad. They are not upset. But rather, they are angry at you. They are angry at me. They believe that I am the enemy of... God damn it, man. I am the one who does not wish Nigeria well. Not the people who spent $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion. Not million, $billion. On old refinery. And it cannot refine a teaspoonful of crude oil. You are not angry at them. Yes, sir. You are not angry. You are not mad. But you think my own wishes, I'm the one who doesn't wish Nigeria well. So my wishes is the reason why Nigeria is not working. Yes, sir. Auntie, mommy, and I believe I'm on more. You go about pointing fingers at people who are trying to kind of wake your mind up and say, please, 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 stop protecting these criminals with your gullibility. There are real life victims of their decisions and indecisions, their criminality and corruption. But you want to gaslight us to make us feel like maybe now us no they wish Nigeria well. That is why Nigeria is not working. But you are looking at these criminals who continually destroy that contraption, and they are making up lies after lies, to cover up another lie. And you are on MaiyegunsDiary Politico. You are pointing finger. Ni kurema. I mean, you should lecturer in Michigan, especially you, that's you, Mr. Lecturer in Michigan. the one that felt like, now because say we don't like Tinubu, that is why we are not celebrating good news about Tinubu. Good news. She good news, Ray. Is this the good news? Emma Shoponisa. Oh, gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ kó jọ l'Amẹ́ríkà yẹn, gbogbo nǹkan tó kó jọ l'Amẹ́ríkà yẹn, wọ lecturer Michigan yẹn, tó ń wò mí yẹn, gbogbo nǹkan tó fi ọwọ́ ẹ̀ kó jọ l'Amẹ́ríkà, ó máa fi ẹ̀yìn ọwọ́ ẹ̀ dànù ni, ẹ máa ṣòfò last ni, tọmọtọmọ. Because it's mostly from this Ronukus abroad. You see, these Ronukus abroad, they are worse than the Ronukus, the voluntary slaves in Nigeria. They are enjoying the system that they can question and probe abroad. But they are supporting the criminality, the corruption, the mediocrity that keeps and puts the lives of our people in danger in Nigeria. They are supporting that from their base abroad. You have a system that works. You can question it because you understand it. But you are supporting the ones that keeps the lives of our people in perpetuity of danger and poverty. Nile. Then you point your fingers at us that we are the ones who doesn't like good news about Nigeria. Emma Shoponi. Ofu, Lumashi. Iwo Mr. Lecturer Michigan. Michigan. All those things you put together. Last, stroke awa. When that stroke catch you, right? One was stopping delay. Can you understand now? Our end up see that contraption. Yes. That's my wish for you if you are watching me, because I know you are. I know you are watching. That is stroke about mueton. They will tell you that ogun is delaying. Here you get call of a later for any American passport. While tickets, you will now go back to Nigeria. And you are many like that. You are in London, you are all over the world. You're playing on the intelligence of our people. You are then pointing fingers to blame other people for it. Apa no den belo e ba nfase si
ẹni òfò ni ẹ ṣòfò láyé ẹ tún ṣe lálìkìyàmọ ẹ̀yin rádaràda wọ̀nyí ẹni òfò ni ẹ ṣòfò láyé ẹ tún ṣe lálìkìyàmọ ẹ̀yin rádaràda wọ̀nyí.
I said if Ahmed Bola Tinubu fails, hold me responsible.
You say?
I say if Tinubu fails, hold me responsible.
Thank you.
The job people are already angry that this is the worst government.
We have just started.
We must. This is not the Ahmed Bola Tinubu I know. Since 1992, when I encounter you, I don't think this is the Ahmed Bola Tinubu I know. That calls me his friend, and I call him my friend, and calls me my son, and I call him my father. This is not the Ahmed Bola Tinubu I know. Ekalo boko to bodugare bebe. Ebikite buayima. Esi
pupa. Eshokuni. And they are already crying it as well in northern Nigeria. The one they are using to gaslight people right now is, what is it called? Tinubu'S tax reform. One Olori Bruku came here yesterday and said that Biolodo. Just give it time. Okay? Once the lead is also taken off, right? I hope you will come back here and be like, Maiyegun, sorry. They don't usually come back to say sorry anyway, but that's why we have to keep sending them the Loju Pali, not Loju doesn't. One of them amuyin jokun asise apada bayini pada shofo last ni ateyin ati Tinubu. Those who were shouting Muslim ticket 2 years ago, ready to lynch anybody who disagreed with them, right now they are now telling us that Tinubu has betrayed them. Is Gaba Life there tonight? Celia, Latu Aruno, the two of you do me a favor. Tell us what in this man they talk, because people like say this Tinubu tax reform, don't they enter them? from the part. It could be like, say, it is about to kind of like rape them without any lubricant as we speak. Here is one Alhaji Abin, a cleric in northern Nigeria, talking about Tinubu'S tax reform and how Tinubu has betrayed them, how Tinubu has disappointed them.
A wannan sati ana ta maganan sabuwar dokar haraji da mai girma shugaban ƙasa ya aika ƙudurori 4 a majalisar tarayya domin idan amince da su a tabbatar da wannan sabuwar doka ta haraji. Al'umma tana ta bayyana da damuwa dangane da wannan al'amari. Babban abin da yake jawo mana damuwa na farko shine ana rufa-rufa da abin da dokokin suka kusa. Abin da muka sani doka ana ɗaukar lokaci wajen rubuta ta. Ana iya wata 6 ko shekara guda ana tsara ta, ana rubuta ta, ana ba masana suna diba ta. Sannan za a kawo ta majalisa, 'yan majalisa a ba su dama da isasshen lokaci su karanta, su tuntuɓi masana akan dokoki ko kuma akan wannan abin da ya shafi dokar. Sannan kuma su tuntuɓi al'ummar da suke wakilta, sannan su zo su yi debate a kai. Ƙarshe in ta kama a saurari ra'ayoyin jama'a, a ce mutane su rubuto, to daga ƙarshe sai abin da shi ne maslaha. To wannan dokar ana son da ƙarfi da yaji sai an zartar da cikin ƙanƙanin lokaci. Majalisar Tattalin Arzikin Ƙasa ta yi kashe game da aiwatar da wannan doka, ta ce a saurara a ƙara duba ta. Wanda shugaban ƙasa shi ya kafa ta, kuma ba ta mandate, amma kuma yanzu ta yi hukunci a saurara, ya ce ba za a saurara ba. Gwamnoni sun zauna sun nuna suna da abin tsoro a cikinta ga al'ummominsu da jihohinsu, ya ce ba za a saurare su ba. Majalisar Malamai ta ƙasa a makon da ya gabata ta fitar da bayanai masu nuna wuraren da muke da ƙorafi, muke da damuwa a cikin wannan dokokin. A jiya ma Majalisar Koli ta aiwatar da shari'a musulunci a Najeriya ta magantu akan wannan ƙudurori. Yana da kyau jama'a mu sani, na farko dai ta bayyana da girma shugaban ƙasa duk matsatsin da muke cikinsa da halin kunci da takura wataƙila bai sani ba, ko kuma bai dame shi ba. Yana neman ya ƙara lafta mana nauyin haraji musamman na ɓangaren VAT wanda ya shafi komai. Duk abin da shi ta kaga an rage ƙoƙarin bayyana cash, ana so komai mai transfer. Duk abin da za ka tura na kuɗi yana da VAT, ko da katin waya ne za ka sai. Magi in za ka sai ya kai ma mai kati mai shago transfer sai an cire VAT. To yana so ya nauyaya mana shi ta yadda ko da zai bar mulki komai ya tsawwala, ya yi tsanani, ya kai ma talaka bai iyawa da shi. Shugaban ƙasa yana ƙudurin kwashe abin da muka tara na harajin nan kuma ya mai da shi jihar su ta Legas. Wannan rashin halarci ne ga sauran jihohin Najeriya waɗanda suka ba shi ƙuri'a, musamman Arewa. Ba fa mu manta ba cewa Legas Labour Party suka zaɓa ba APC suka zaɓa ba, amma kuma a yau ana so sai an nuna mana ƙabilanci, an kwashe arzikinmu an mai da shi gare su. Sannan cikin ƙudurorin nan da mai girma shugaban ƙasa ya bayar akwai maganar wato karya manya-manyan agencies da gwamnati waɗanda gwamnatocin baya suka kafa saboda tallafa mai ilimi, musamman ilimi na gaba da sakandare, irin su Tech Fund da NITDA da Naseni. Idan aka tabbatar da wannan dokokin nan da 2030 gaba ɗaya ba za su sake samun ko su kawo ba. Wannan in ka shiga manyan jami'o'inmu, ka shiga polytechnics, ka shiga high institutions, college of education na tarayya da na jihohi, duk wani sabon gini da ka gani shekara 10 zuwa yau to Tech Fund ta yi shi. Duk abin da ya shafi kimiyya da bunƙasa ta da ci gaba da training mutane da samar da digital economy to kusa aikin NITDA ne. Na sai ni ita ma a nata ɓangaren duk gaba ɗaya dai yana so a kashe su. A maimakon wannan ci gaba zai dawo ma dankara ma masu karatu abin nan bashi wanda nan gaba ba su iya biyan sa. Idan ya zama jami'ai ba su samu inda ake tallafa musu, babu NITDA, babu Tech Fund, sannan ɗalibai bashi za a ba su yi karatu, to daga 300,000 sai a mai da shi 2,000,000. Daga 2,000,000 sai ya zama 500,000. Sai ya kai ba in ba wanda ya samu bashin na gwamnati ba wanda zai iya karatu. Shi kuma kowa ya san duk wanda za a bada bashi bai iya game kowa da kowa. Sannan wanda aka bada bashi shi ma an mai da shi kamar bawa. To kaga wannan duka ba ci gaba ne ga Najeriya ba kuma haka ake zato ba lokacin da muka zaɓi mai girma Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Da haka muna kira ga shugaban ƙasa ya ji tsoron Allah, ya saurara ma wannan manufa tasa, ya bari a duba maslaha, a yi abin da ya kamata kamar yadda majalisar tattalin arzikin ƙasa ta bukata.
In a nutshell, Alhaji is asking Tinubu to have a rethink. All these things, all these your policies, that you are rolling out and rolling out and rolling out. So that is further, I mean, that are further reducing the supposed economic survival of the people. Yeah? That Tinubu think and well, because people are going through a lot, and this your new tax stuff and all that is pretty much like anti-North on his side as well. Anti-people, he actually said it, anti-people. Mr. JJ Wien, I don't know if you are new on MaiyegunsDiary Politico. And I would remind people like yourself, the only reason why you are going to have issue with the way I talk is when you are a closet supporter of the Olori Burukus destroying Nigeria. Are you listening? You call me uncultured. I am talking about the ruins of APC. You want me to say it with respect? Oh, ni kure. Emi uncultured. So, is that you are new to start with? And if you are a closet Ronuku, again, you are on the wrong platform. I hope you will remember that. Right? And the reason why I will continue to curse people like yourself, especially those ones who are like a one Nigerianist, those who want to be politically correct. You know the politically correct people. Those ones who will say to me that, Maiyegun, you can still present your program without being salty, without being insulting, without cursing people. You want me to be a gentleman? I can be, all right, but that is not the modus operandi of MaiyegunsDiary Politico. Ronukus, bad stats, bad idiots, and the rest of their clans, they do watch Maiyegun. And when I want to push and fish them out like that, that's when I open the session of Ekwe on you, also phony. You don't understand. That's the least I can say to you. That's the least I can give to you, because I am not a violent person, right? So the only way I can make you uncomfortable is that if you are pretending that you want a better Nigeria, you will not have any problem with all those causes. No, any problem. But now because people like yourself will come onto MaiyegunsDiary Politico, they are in bed with the criminals destroying Nigeria. Yeah, you have this affinity to them. You have this soft spot for them. So therefore, you begin to ask Maiyegun, what is the way forward? What is the solution? What is oh, ni kure, also phony. Oh, okay, all of that are intentional. You want me to, you want me to show respect to criminals and their supporters. You want me to sound like, a reasonable, like a mumu reasonable person. How can you be reasonable with Olori Burukus, whose decisions are destroying lives every day? So you get problem with that. If you ask people very well, they will tell you that I have actually changed a lot. I have changed a lot. And what I mean by that is that I have tried to, because children, children also watches Maiyegun, right? And that's why I don't usually want to start with Ekwe, end it with Ekwe for all of you. Because what you do most of the time is to try to want to be politically correct, where I've had some of you who have said that I should stop calling Tinubu. Don't you have respect? Are you not a Yoruba man? As a Yoruba man, you are supposed to respect elders. As a Yoruba man, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, you can still talk without abusing them. Oh, nishkure, ofoloshi. If you think I like home training, some said I don't have home training. Yeah, some of you Olori Buruku have said I have no home training. I should not call people Olori Buruku. What do you want me to call the Olori Burukus? Olori Reis. How can I call Olori Buruku Edas Olori Re? How? That would be me lying now. So if you think I don't have home training, I lack home training, I am asking you, who are the parents of all these Olori Buruku you call leaders in Nigeria? Who trained them? Who raised these thieves? Did their own parents raise them right to loot public fund, deny the citizens the good governance? Who raised these people? The thieves, the criminals who are milking that contraption. Who raised them? Who are their parents? Are you saying their parents raised criminals? They raised thieves? Oh no, we should leave them. But you are asking for you are asking about my own upbringing and home training, because I want to respect criminals. Oh, Nikuri times 1 million, and people like you too. So if you're about don't even make any attempts to try to want to sound right. And you could one by one. You know the book where die on social media, because this is all we have, right? And you can say that doesn't change. It doesn't matter. We change anything, but at least it got some of you upset that you have to pick up your phone and you are typing a comment. You are typing a comment to Maiyegun, right? Because somehow you felt like I should be nice. I should be respectful. Respectful to people who have no respect for us? Do you think anyone that respects you will steal from you the way these lunatics are doing in Nigeria? Do you think? Who raised them? Who are their parents? Who raised all these thieves? These treasury looters? Who raised them? Who are their parents? I will steal public fund, maybe because, I would probably never have the chance of administering public fund though, right? I will steal from people and watch them die and then begin to demand respect from them. Respect me because I am older than you. Ni shori racer. The bati shegun yensi efofo lo gba last ni. Efofo lo gba ni last ni. Don't let anybody gaslight you. Sure you get. Thieves also grow old. Olori Buruku people also grow old. Don't say because somebody is now older person, no. And because of that, I am just respecting your age. You are there. If you let anybody deceive you into respecting criminals because they are older than you, don't try it. Are you with me? Some of us, if we have the chance, I'm a low agbadamo Ọlọ́run ni, I'm a drag you by, I'm a go one drop dead. Doesn't mean that we don't have home training. In fact, it's actually from our own home training that we're not supposed to respect thieves. Don't bow for them. Don't try it. Except, if you are new on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, look at me very well. We don't respect criminals here. Whether it's from your tribe or she's not from your tribe, whether she's from your religion or she's not from, it doesn't matter. Old or young, criminals are criminals. Don't let anybody gaslight you and begin to say, no, don't let them question your own home training without questioning the home training of all these Olori Burukus that are destroying Nigeria. Are you with me? Don't let anybody blackmail you into thinking that now you don't get home training. Because if you think you are the one who doesn't have home training, right? Who trained these ones, these looters? Who trained them? Who are their parents? Who raised them? To put the life of millions of people in danger, in poverty. And all they care about is what they can take and take and take without any responsibility. And somebody will come on social media and begin to tell you how to react. Don't call them Olori Buruku. Why don't you just say it in another way? That's not a sleep. It's not a slip of tongue. Except if you are new on MaiyegunsDiary Politico. Because we all know, listen to me, we have cleared that path here. Which is that we know the majority of you are all waiting for your turn. Nigeria is a turn-by-turn Nigeria limited. The yesterday thieves, right? They are the motivator for today's thieves. Today's thieves, right? They are also kind of what? Motivator for the tomorrow's thieves. Everybody's waiting for their turn. So don't pull wool all over our eyes here. Don't tell us how to react. Don't tell me how to react. Don't ask me to respect criminals, whether they are young or old. Kukushidanu. You hear? They are destroying lives. You want me to what? If I want to be speaking by their rules, I will go apply for a job for Channels Television. Yeah, I will write an application letter to Arise News and say, please, I want to be working for your TV so that I can be talking phone, speaking English, speaking, So if you are a Ronuku on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, you are not supposed to be here. Because every day, and somehow, you go to think, say, it go to affect you. You understand? I mean, every day you go to listen to Maiyegun, and it will be like, now you are the talk to. It go to be like, now you are the talk to. So somehow, it go to trigger you. I come up with PTSD, Shireni, for the sake of your own health. Unsubscribe from MaiyegunsDiary Politico. You are not supposed to be watching me. If you have any little tiny affinity to these criminals, you are not supposed to be watching Maiyegun for your own health, mental health. Because I want people to be radicalized. Yes, I do. I want people to understand that their enemies are not spirits. I want them to know that the people behind their problems, they are not, what do you call it, evil spirits, be village people. They are those who are wearing agbada, those who are wearing a suit. They have names, they have identity. And I want the people who are listening to Maiyegun to know them. Whether they are from your tribe or from your church, it doesn't matter. You understand? You need to know them. Don't sit down and be like, oh, these are our leader. No, they are not the same like that. You need to know the role every one of them is playing in destroying that contraption. Those who are telling you to go to church, to go to mosque, to go and pray, to go to Mecca, to go and stone Satan there. You know, I am not like that. I'll give you their names. I'll give you their roles. You will know what they are doing to you. It's now up to you. It's left to you, whatever you do with that. Get radicalized. It's a good thing. Don't respect criminals. Don't ever do it. Don't try it. Or else everything I've been doing on this platform is just a waste of time. You must not respect criminals. If anybody feels offended, defamed, you can sue me. You know you can do that, Sha? Yeah, you can. You can sue me. If you think I say something that is not true, you can sue me too. So don't tell us to respect criminals. So to show for that, to kuma or to nielowo. And you bruku jati. Children needs to know we don't want our children to be lied to anymore. They raised us lying to us. We are the leaders of tomorrow. You are the future leaders. Didn't know that one day drug dealers, certificate forgers, treasury looters, they will now be the role models. We never had such as our role models when we were younger. And you are now promoting criminals and you are telling us how to react to them. You are Ronuku on MaiyegunsDiary Politico for the sake of your own health. It's a unsubscribe. It's for your own good. See you, I don't have control over that. To unsubscribe now for your own good. Let's go to the next one. The opposition are gathering. They said they want to remove call in 2027. I laugh. I do. I mean, I laugh. Laughing in this sense is just to let you know that you do not have any system institution to actually make that happen. If any opposition wants to come together, they want to rescue Nigeria. They have to start now. Occupy Nigeria. Mobilize millions of your supporters out now. Trash that useless 1999 constitution. Don't amend it. Trash it. Set yourself up for another word. So I'm just giving you an opinion, my own opinion. And it doesn't matter if it counts or not. I will still say it. If you genuinely wanted to change that contraption, you would have to start with what? Mobilize. Peter Obi had 6.1 million. That's how much Yakubu gave him. 6.1 million voters, Abi. Atiku had 6.9 million voters. Add them together, that's going to be like 13 million people. Half of that is enough. In fact, 25% of that is enough. What is 25% of 13 million? Or 30% of 13 million? That should possibly be somewhere around 4 million, Abi. Yeah, 4 million. So 4 million of your supporters, move them out now. Occupy everywhere, shut everywhere down until a new day for a new constitution is set up. And in that constitution, right, no president has the power to appoint INEC chairman. You must stop that. They must not appoint anything. Electoral officers, so they must not be appointed by the politicians. They must set some media CV, run for office as well, and say, okay, I want to be the next, what do you call it? The next election czar, the umpire czar. So then they get screened, where they make sure that they have no affinity, no affiliation to any political class. And then you can start that now. And by 2026, you would have a new constitution. And then you have a new INEC. Anything short of that is a waste of time. So this morning, Peter Obi and Atiku, they had breakfast and they made the news. They said the opposition are meeting, the Empress. By the way, thank you very much for that super chat, okay? That's very generous of you. It's been a while, though. So the Empress always said that she had to leave MaiyegunsDiary Politico severally just to go and take care of her own mental health, because sometimes a lot of things that she gets told or gets shown on MaiyegunsDiary Politico are just so much and so too much for her that sometimes she just had to take a break. And I am glad that you are watching this evening. I hope tonight is not that much again, because there's no difference, all right? If you leave MaiyegunsDiary Politico because of the exposés and because it can be so depressing and all of that for you, and then you leave, even if you leave for 2 months and you come back, by the time you come back, the whole wahala is not going to be subsidized, okay, or subsided. The whole thing is, everyday wahala, and it keeps getting worse. So it's good to have you back. So this morning, was it this morning or even yesterday? I think it was yesterday. It only made it to the media today because Peter Obi was invited to Atifu's Apti. Atifu set up a British university after they destroyed the Nigerian education system, right? Obasanjo set up his own university, private university called Bells University. Atiku set his own up in Adamawa, and he called it American British University, right? So yesterday, they invited Peter Obi to come and give a speech at their convocation ceremony. Was it yesterday or today? Okay, it doesn't matter. So here, they had a breakfast.
Okay. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, morning. Good morning, sir. Why are you sitting down there?
He chooses to say, we try to be.
What is that? This is
when you see the articulators, the articulated moguls, the articulated morons, the SPV boys, they want Peter Obi to become Atifu's vice president again, because to them, it's only Atifu that can rally the North to come together and remove Tifnumbu. And to the obedience to them, Atifu should be a big brother. He should be an elder statesman. Atifu should back Peter Obi to become the presidential candidate. In which party? There is an hint, there's this particular hint where they said Atifu, Obi, as well as Kaduna Littlefinger, El Rufaya, and others, including Kwakwan Sop, that they were meeting to set up their own political party. They are Witaku, Tifnumbu, and I was like, who go conduct the election? So there is no yet any agreement. Atifu is still going to run in PDP. Peter Obi currently doesn't really have a party as Abure and gang, including Lamidiot, Apampas, right? Lamidiot, Apampas, right? So they are somehow in control of Labour Party now. So Obi is floating. Atifu too is controlling just a section of PDP, and Werewike is controlling the other for Tifnumbu. So if Obi, Atifu, Littlefinger, Kwakwan Sop, if all of them come together and form a new political party, who is going to be their presidential candidate? Who is going to conduct the election? Today was yesterday. Chidoka, who happened to be the former minister of aviation in Nigeria, resigned from the PDP because, according to him, PDP is gone. If we all are to be honest. And this was the guy who exposed how they rigged Edo election. And as we speak, right, PDP that was supposed to actually move, they're supposed to be the opposition that will move the mountain to ensure that APC, right, would be afraid of conducting this level of institutionalized rigging. PDP just went quiet, unfortunately, because they did same in the past. In fact, PDP thought they were going to be in charge of Nigeria for the next 50 years, but that got truncated 9 years ago. Long story though, right? So, Chidoka resigned from PDP, but before he did, he told us this. This one is a long watch, okay? When it was with Sheung on channels, he told us how they rigged this Edo election. And I'm talking about the pictorial evidence of how the results, the supposed results from polling units does not reflect the announced results by the INEC. And guess what? INEC still went ahead to pronounce APC, Egbekegbe winner, and they told everybody else to go to court. God damn it, man.
The very first time, I am shocked. I am totally distressed that an institution will put its reputation at stake for the purpose of an election. Which is INEC. Which is INEC.
So you think INEC was highly compromised there?
This is compromised by design. The election in Edo.
Let's get a sense of this is the summary of what
this is the summary.
Lack of transparency, discrepancies in the voter
accreditation, incidents of overvoting, manipulation at the World Collation Center, and result viewing portal.
These are the layers of what your findings are.
We show the layers of what we saw.
Yeah. So let's go further.
This is our methodology. Okay. So we requested for freedom of information. INEC gave us certified true copies of EC8B, EC8C, EC8D, and the 40G. So we collected some of them from INEC, but we didn't get all. Again, this election was an election where a Sako West local government, 11 wards, was not delivered, and Ipomoka, 1 ward. So we have a total of 323 polling units that was not involved in this. We wrote to the 3 political parties and said, do you have this? PDP said they don't. Labour said they don't. We didn't get a response from APC. But none of the parties had these 343 polling units that were missing.
All right, for the sake of our viewers that are watching tonight, the forms here that we're talking about are the forms statutorily provided under the law and the rules and regulation guiding the operations of INEC. The EC8 forms, EC8A, EC8B, EC8Bs are the ward coalition, EC8Cs are the local government coalition, EC8D is the state result. So it's important for our conversation that you understand these forms, as they will provide a very good understanding into the findings of Athena Center. So these are the methodologies that you use. Let's find out. The state at the
state, this is just a snapshot. 18 local government, 192 wards, 451, 4,519 polling units, and 2.6 million registered voters.
All right. So now, from there, we saw
the INEC announced results.
This result as it was pronounced by
291,000 for APC, 242,000 for PDP, and 22,000 for Labour. This is as announced by INEC.
And of course, the man that was declared winner there, the governor of Edo State, Monday Okpebholo, of the APC, who was said to have polled 291,667 votes. Well, so what are the data that we have? What do we know?
So let's start here. So from the IREF, we downloaded 4,466 polling units. Of these, 4,410 were valid. 109 were excluded because 53 polling units were not uploaded to IREF, 36 PUs were cancelled, and 14 polling units with illegible results. It could not be read. And 4 polling units result with no votes. So there was a result, but there were no votes. And then there is one EC60E, which is the polling unit result that you're supposed to put out at the polling unit. So one of the presiding officers snapped it and uploaded. And then there is the EC25E, only one was uploaded. Now, the 180 words given to us by INEC, 363 PUs were not given. Of the 4156, 164 were excluded. 10 PUs recorded as cancelled, according to INEC. 153 PUs were not accounted for. That is to say, there were no results. And 1 PU was an illegible result. So we had 4156 polling units from INEC, but we ended up with 3,992 that were valid polling units.
So problem was that INEC didn't have all the results.
363 polling units are missing until today.
And INEC,
we wrote to the Edo State, wrote to the National, and after that we wrote to the 3 parties asking them, did you get these results? But those results were on the IREF. So, but they were not given to us on the EC8B. So we didn't see the breakdown of what was recorded on the ward collation from the polling units.
So what you got now is the EC8 results, the BVAS result, and you are able to extrapolate and make sense of it. Yeah, based on what you have.
Yes. So those are the 11 wards not given by INEC, 11 wards in Esako West, 284 polling units, and 1 ward from Ipoboka.
So people should understand the implication of when we say ward. It means that it's almost like a village or hamlet in some places. In fact, in some places, it's almost a town.
It's a political unit.
Yeah.
It's created by, they have 192 in Edo State. So there are 192 wards which constitute a local government. So the polling units are the base where everybody votes. Then there is a ward. Then it is called the residential area in the INEC lingo.
So the idea right here is these 284, because some people might be wondering, 11 wards and you have 284 polling units. The polling unit is where you go to vote. That place where you have the cubicle and all of that, that is a polling unit. And so you have all of these 284 in the 11 wards.
In Esako West.
In Esako
and then
West.
77 in 1 ward from Ipoboka.
Yeah. Now, so if you look at this, you said they gave EC8 4G.
40G is the result, that is the form that shows cancelled elections where elections did not hold. So INEC only gave us 6 polling units in the EC40G, but there were more polling units that were cancelled.
So 3 polling units in Akoko Edo and 3 polling units in Ipoboka.
Yes.
So that's what you have. Now, let's move forward.
Now,
so
this is where the problem starts, and this is a serious problem. In the EC8A forms we downloaded from IREF, we accounted for 580,000 accredited voters. Mark that word, 580,000. When INEC gave us the BVAS report that we requested for, we saw 687,427 as the number of accredited voters. Now, if you go to the EC8B, the 180 they gave us, the number of accredited voters there was 541. 541,283. So 323 were missing from this, but they had 541. So if you probably sum it up, it will give you something around 580. Now, in the EC8D, the one the returning officer announced to the world as the result of the election, they had 604 accredited voters. Now, they had 577 used ballot papers. That is not in contention. 577,000 ballot papers were used. But INEC said that the people who saw the voters, the people who accredited, the people who counted the votes and recorded came with 580,000 accredited voters. But the INEC back end gave us 687. When we reviewed it, we saw that there were 794 polling units where INEC had randomly increased the number of votes. Some as much as 1,400 increased the number of votes in those polling units to get to 687. Our suspicion is that the last election, we used the BVAS as the gold standard to check for inconsistency, and you could see the inconsistency. But in this election, by this singular act of INEC, we are not able to now say what went wrong with the election, because the number of accredited voters are 100,000 more than the number of accredited voters that was accounted for at the polling unit.
That is the abracadabra. Nigeria election where APC, Egbekegbe, is interested. It is not the number of people that are voting that matters. It is the people that are going to record the votes. The votes. If you like, all of us should come out and say 1 million people accredited. By the time INEC will announce it, they will announce 1.3 million. If you don't agree, go to court. So it has been proven again and again that you are not contesting elections with APC, Egbekegbe. Wherever APC, Egbekegbe, wherever they have interest, you are contesting that election with INEC. And if you don't agree, go to court. It's as simple as that. That is why if you participate in their charade, what you are doing is that you are validating it. You can no longer come around and say you are rigged. Wherever they increase the number of accredited voters and the number of total votes, it is always in the favor of APC, Egbekegbe. It is never the other way around. So accredited voters are the people that showed up on the day of election with their voters card, and they take their pictures, their fingerprints, check their voters card, and they give them ballot papers. Those are the accredited voters. So when they collected all the numbers in Edo, it was 577,000. By the time INEC was announcing results, accredited voters jumped from 577,000, to 680,000, which is over 100,000 more. And that's exactly what they added to the Monday Pebolu, what is his name? That made him the governor of Edo State today. If you don't agree with that, bye-bye, go to court. So it is not about you coming together, opposition, this and that. That would remove Etifnumbu? No. It is by dismantling the entire rotten system, compromised institutions, and you can do it. Even though some of you probably will wait till that 2027, get rigged out, and then you go to court. Like they are in Edo now, they are going to court. By the time they announce the results, those who voted for PDP, the result that PDP recorded as their own result, 210,000 or something, INEC confirmed that. The what they recorded for Okpebolo, 190 something thousand, when they added the over 100,000 to it, Okpebolo scored nearly 300,000 or so. And if you don't agree with that, go to court. Why would anybody kind of waste their time, resources in participating in all this charade? It's a waste of resources and waste of lives. Roses and Charles, thank you very much for that super chat as well. Thank you. You far too kind. People are feeling generous tonight, which is great. So thanks so much. Appreciate that. Pastor Ruga was saying 2 days ago, Pastor Ruga, Ikene Shatabandu, Agbowoni Babaoja, the special advisor to Bokwari on burial arrangements, condolences visits, as well as a trader money, the market money. Pastor Ruga, now is on the pulpit, not pulpit per se, right? It was somewhere, and is advising the youth that the youth can use social media to mobilize, to organize, including protests and all that, but the youth needed to get involved in politics. Right? In which of them? APC. Listen to Pastor Ruga. I mean, it's been a while.
I'll ask a few rhetorical questions. What is the point of political action? What is the point? What is the role of the elite in political action? Who is the elite? Why is the elite particularly important in political action, especially in developing countries? And then why does technology would otherwise be a mere tool, why is it important in our discussions on political action? I'll answer that last question immediately. Why technology is so important in the discourse on political action? It is because technology is both a tool and a radical expression of a crucial right, the fundamental right to freedom of expression. And there are many who say that that particular right, the right to freedom of expression, is the foundation of all other rights. Of course, that's another argument. The next question I ask is, who is the elite? Who is...
Nuisance Lele.
Now the guy that spent 1.2 trillion naira sharing money, 10,000 naira to traders. He was the one who said, if a pure water seller is given 10,000 naira to buy pure water, and she sells the pure water, she will make 5,000 naira profit. Now she can go and buy 15,000 naira pure water to sell in traffic. Then she will make 22,000 naira, 7,500 naira profit. And if she managed the money very well, within a month, a pure water seller, through the trader money, can grow a business from 10,000 naira to more than 100,000 naira. And the Ronukus, the Buaridins, the Buarididins, the Buaridinotus, the Buaridijatus, the Buarishukus, the Ungozi Aris, the Uneka Aris, the obedient fools, the sophisticated morons, the humbled slaves, the Lagos Abobakus, the Oshogbu Alimajiris, the Abrodian Buaridiots, the Mumumadus, the Bele lecturers, the Mumu lecturers, they agreed with Pastor Ruga. And 1.2 trillion naira went down the drain. The Olori Bruku Ruga even crashed in Kogi. Papa shopper Ogbeni crashed in Kogi. Papa no go hospital. It be like person will do money ritual. You must spend the money. You cannot go back home with the money. How many of you remember that time? Pastor Ruga wanted to go and share money in Kogi. The shopper crashed. They said, Pastor Rugati crash you. Pastor Rugati crash you. Instead of him to go to hospital, he no go hospital. He continued to that location to make sure they shared the money. They had to share the money. It be like person will do money ritual. When they talk, say, you must spend the money new. If you don't finish the money a day, that thing will happen. Oh. How many of you remember that? There's this, I think there are movies where they say you must share the money. You must spend the money before 12 a.m. Because the spirit that is bringing the money, it must not meet another money, any leftover in your house. That's exactly what it felt like when Pastor Ruga crashed in Kogi. He still went on to share money. 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira. And they said they were lifting people out of poverty. To lift 10 million people out of poverty. They were sharing 10,000 naira to start business. I bet you back, Benny. You don't forget? No, come on, you can't forget that. Some of us were already crying. Because I have not really seen many people that that crashed and survived. But Pastor Ruga crashed because the money was too heavy ahead. And they put her inside chopper from Abuja to Kogi. Me shopper Luba crashed in Kogi. We thought he's dead. And when they uploaded another picture, he was already sharing money. Professor of law, you are sharing money in the year of election, and you called it empowerment, lifting people out of poverty. Today, that same Pastor Ruga is now talking about technology, technology, and all of the elite. They are late of, they are late. Some people are even saying he should have been the president if he's the one that is the president, as if to say he was not the one with Bokuwari. This same Pastor Ruga, Ikene Shatabandu, they destroyed that contraption. They did. They said that Bokuwari will be fighting the terrorists physically. Pastor Ruga will be fighting the terrorists spiritually. By the time they are done, they built an establishment. An industry for terrorism in Nigeria. They industrialized terrorism in Nigeria. You don't know that. We never used to have the Fulani terrorists in that contraption. They never get the audacity to whip guns and begin to ask for our land or our life in that country. They never did that until these criminals walked the surface of that contraption called Nigeria. Today is a motivational speaker, Mr. Motivational Speaker, Pastor Ruga. Anyway, my time is almost up. I'm not going to round it up without showing this from Lagos. I told you that some of these criminal politicians, sometimes they can multitask. Tokunbo Wahab is known for showing us around Lagos during the day, the shanties and all of that. But recently, he has now taken up the job of NDLEA, looking for the drug dealers, the drug sellers, and the drug users. And in the middle of the night, they are demolishing their shanties at the hotspots across Lagos. Here is one of them. It's so dark everywhere it was, right? That is our mega city, Lagos. Saaki Olafioye. Thank you very much as well for your super chats. You know, I appreciate that, and then thank you for, you're far too kind. The scope of our understanding is directly proportional to the limit of our exposure, no doubt. Unfortunately, we have those of us who left the contraption, but the contraption never left us. Unfortunately, sir. There are those who live abroad, and they were supposed to actually reflect that they live in a sane, or they live in sane societies. But rather, they are much in bed with those who are ruining and destroying the contraption, like, it's fine, when it is not. So we'll keep outing them, and we'll keep saying it as it is. It is not to make anybody feel comfortable. I have said this many times on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, right? I am grateful to all the Maiyegun's supporters, put it that way, or Maiyegun's listeners, dear Templars, my brethren in the Temple of Truth. I so much appreciate your kind words, your support, your generosity, and name it. I will always remind you that you do not owe me any of such. Like, if you love Maiyegun, it has to be an unconditional one. Unconditional in the sense that I may say things that will make you feel like, oh, I love this guy. Oh, I appreciate what this guy is doing and all that. And then you may wake up tomorrow morning and I'm here with another title, something that will likely make you so uncomfortable. Uncomfortable truth. That you can easily just withdraw that I love this guy to hate this guy. This guy is too proud. Or he thinks he knows everything. There's nothing people haven't really said about me whenever they feel like I have attacked what they seem to love or cherish. On MaiyegunsDiary Politico, the song says, Godfatherism, kò sí lọ́rọ̀ MaiyegunDiary, na him be number one. I do not worship humans, and I don't want you to, and I don't want you to worship me. Do you understand? Do not worship any human. Treat and deal with people based on their merits. When people show you who they are, believe them. Okay? Do not make up things for them. All right? None of us is infallible, or so to say. So, but whenever you are on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, try as much as possible never to put yourself in the defense of those who are responsible for our misery. Don't speak for them. Don't fight for them. Don't argue for them. Don't excuse for them. And we are all going to be fine. Anything after this is just like conditional love. So I do appreciate everyone who loves Maiyegun unconditionally. Let's keep it that way. And then, yeah, this guy will be our limit, or starting point, rather. Thank you so much, everyone. I am going to go on a short break now. So when I come back, we shall take calls. If you have any disagreement to what I have shared so far, this might be your shot to express that. And if you really have to go, make sure that you like the broadcast as well. It's important. So when I come back, we'll continue. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, dear brethren. I just read where people said that they want to buy me coffee. Yeah, you can also support my platform, right? If you don't know how to do the super chat, okay? So my friends on YouTube asking for the link to buy me coffee, buy me a cup, buy me 2 cups, and then whatever you think you can buy, support Maiyegun. But let me show you. There is this QR code, right? I'll put it on the screen for you. 1 sec. So what you have to do is that bring out your phone, okay? Then turn on the camera of your phone. So the camera of your phone, right? Then scan this. You will see a link. A link is going to pop up, right? Yeah, that QR code. Scan it. If you scan it, you can buy me as many as a cup of coffee you want. 100 cup, 500 cup, or just 1 cup of coffee, all right? So with that, you can actually support Maiyegun's Diary Politico. I'll leave it on for just a few seconds, okay? Or maybe a few minutes. I have a caller. Victor. Hello there.
Hello, my brother Maiyegun.
Hello, sir. How are you?
How is the family? Hope everybody is fine out there.
We are here surviving. Thanks so much for asking. And how are you?
Oh, thank God, bro. Thank God.
Fantastic.
Oh, man. Today's topic is under hot one, my brother. Nigeria's matter. Nigeria's matter. It's not for the faint-hearted. We just don't know when they're going to stop, where they will find the boundary to mark a demarcation to say, okay, enough is enough. But thank God. Exactly. Thank God you are here to checkmate on them, because you are acting as a kind of check on them. If it wasn't for you that is giving us all this information, I'll probably not be having access to getting most of the nonsense that they are doing out there.
Honestly.
I think it's high time, because this impunity cannot continue forever. It is high time that they should legislate. Nigerian. Well, I don't know if they would do it, but it is high time that Nigerians should start demanding for legislation that will take away the immunity that this people has, that makes them to behave like, I don't know how to put it, a bunch of idiots out there.
They're like untouchable. They're like untouchable. They laugh at us all the time. They're like, all of you, especially those of us living abroad. They consider us as troublemakers. We are the ones asking questions, and all these questions makes them uncomfortable. It makes us look like we are confrontational to them.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Can you imagine a state governor? A state governor exercising the power of prerogative of mercy on terrorists. You don't negotiate with terrorists
to protect their people, but they have the one to protect terrorists.
You don't negotiate with terrorists, you crush them. Nigerian government have been negotiating with terrorists for the past 8 years. It hasn't brought us anything good. And they keep repeating the mistake over and over again and expecting a different result.
Did you hear that Zulu yesterday, Victor?
Oh my God.
That one said all the minors that they locked up for 3 months, that they should have left them in prison to serve as a deterrent to others who might want to protest in the future. And that's a guy who bragged that he has already freed over 160,000 repentant terrorists. And he's not ashamed of that.
These guys will just leave important issues and start chasing shadows. Are they encouraging these terrorists to carry on terrorizing the states? Or they're trying to discourage them? It's unbelievable. I've never seen anywhere in the world where terrorists are being encouraged to continue doing what they are doing, to continue to terrorize the citizens of a country. I'm beginning to read the benefits.
They heard the Quran and they said they won't do it again. Like, what the heck? What does that even mean? They swore by the Quran not to do it again. So then they've repented. Like, what do you even mean by that?
My goodness. It's unbelievable. It's as if we don't have leaders.
It's unbelievable, Baba. It is. But here we found ourselves being led by criminals that would rather use the insecurity to their own advantage politically. That's all that they care about.
In fact, it's just the charade is just. I mean, it's a huge joke. It's a huge joke. Nigerian government is not ready to govern. You know, they made us a laughing stock that you can no longer be proud of calling yourself a Nigerian anymore.
Honestly.
You know, in a society where thieves are chiefs, a society where the intelligence ones get relegated to the background, leaving governance to a bunch of idiots, people that don't even know what governance means. Allowing criminality to thrive
is a criminal offense.
You know, in fact, I don't know. I just don't know. Sometimes, you know. My brother, let me not take much of the time. Let me allow others to speak also.
Thank you very much for calling in, okay? You enjoy the rest of the evening.
Have a nice
well,
day.
right?
Nice evening, bro. Yeah.
Yes, sir. You have a good day. So I have another caller on the line. Here. Hello there.
Hello, Mr. Maiyegun.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Well done, my brother. Thank God. How's your family?
Well, we are good. Thank you so much for asking.
You are doing well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so proud of what you do.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, my call is last time you did show this guy when he did for Paris.
Call.
Yes. And you know how these people work. I won't tell you one thing where we say how people need to know. You see, if you see when a king of this guy, King of England, after he take over,
yeah,
yes, after he take over, which country you first go?
I can't remember. Do you mind?
Okay, I will tell you two countries where you first go. First, you go to France. Then the second country again is Kenya.
Right, I saw that. Right.
And that is not a coincidence. You know why?
Tell us.
They know say now Nigerians don't know say that they use us. So you know one show face. So all these things where Mark they do, they work for them. If you see this kind of stealing where they go on now, my brother, for Nigeria, you go shout. And where those money they end up, you know now.
The West.
Yes. So now all these things we know say they know say that our guy they like where they show him, where all those things where they like him.
I mean,
so you know that's the way they happen.
Yeah, it feels so,
yes, you know that
it feels so among.
Exactly, and that's what you want. He's a good guy, but in age and the sickness we get now, if you do anything. You understand? But a good guy, I no go lie for you. I no hate him more. And forget about the way when they come to power. But you know if you do anything. And now biscuit him be now, and they know.
So everybody could just kind of like see how they can use him.
Exactly.
Get to
so
they can.
Back to the voyage of that king where see this guy Kanu.
Yep.
Those see where they talk, they open many people eye, and they don't like him. When you see that guy, they talk say Fulani, they do this one. So this outside they here and Fulani they rule. All those things now waiting they pick up from Kanu talk. And those people they don't like him. If you see the way they take Kanu, no be only Nigeria say bring him. No. Now they just you understand, they just close the matter. Because the guy they go far. You understand? So now you make that guy go Kenya, go thank them. You understand? So this one where Mark they do now because they know if you do them now for UK because Nigerians go quickly say waiting this one. You understand?
There are 2 million of us in this place, by the way. So somehow, I mean, I'm not 100% sure of that, but it could trigger something.
No, yes, Nigerians go ask questions because Nigerians don't already they say this guy, this guy and he carry all this money where they say this guy and they work free. They go tell you say they go carry and they go court all those things now. You understand?
Just formality.
The one thing you say, somebody go see that kind of money, wrong go Nigeria, they go leave them. Not possible now. Not possible. You know.
Anyway, Baba. GC, thank you so much. For calling.
You're welcome, my brother.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thumbs up.
Take it easy.
Thumbs up, bro.
Yes, sir.
Thumbs
nice
up.
one. So, talking about this France, I don't know if it was just me, right? Where the weekend was also taken to France, by the way. And when he was to greet Macron, the first picture on the left was when Werewike moved closer. When you zoom the picture to the one on the right, it's like Macron was holding his breath. I don't know if it's just me. Tell me if I am wrong. Okay. Macron is holding his breath. And it's pretty much like, some said it is alcohol. Others said it is the mouth odor of Tinubu and Werewike alcohol combined. I don't know. I'm just trying to kind of read a picture. And I may be 100% wrong, which is fine by me. Okay. But I'm just trying to kind of read a picture, see if my interpretation of it, I mean, nobody can tell me that Macron is not holding his breath here. Right? Then also, just yesterday, Donyo Kwigbe uploaded this image on the left, which was a completely unrelated picture that they photoshopped. And Donyo Kwigbe was telling people that Macron and his wife, they dressed in Nigerian attire. Then Tinubu and his wife also dressed in Yoruba attire. But at the end of the day, it was somebody else's wedding picture that the Adagbajera Ufu Donyo Kwigbe photoshopped and to celebrate Tinubu in Paris. So these two images are currently on social media and there are questions to be asked. I don't know if the mixture of alcohol and mouth odor, the Tinubu's mouth odor, as well as Werewike's alcoholic breath, are they both combined, which could be like atomic bomb that got Macron uncomfortable. But since Macron knows what they look for, so it can endure for some minutes, whatever it takes. I don't know if you have seen that or not. Anyway, let me say thank you to my to this older boy, brother. Thank you very much. You know, that's older from Leeds. Thanks so much for your own generosity there. I got your super chats, and similarly, Latiaruno, I got your buy me a coffee. Clearly, I got that of my man, Yomitotu. And I have also received that of my leader, Lababs. Well, all of you are feeling generous this evening. So I have to say thank you to all of you. And every penny counts, they say. Every little help. I appreciate you as you are appreciating Maiyegun. The universe will keep you or will preserve you all for me and preserve me for you. As long as we breathe. Here is Stanley. Hello there.
My brother.
My brother. One name. How are you, sir?
God bless you.
Amen.
How is everything?
You too.
Well, whenever I'm coming back from work, I'm always like very full of ecstasy that I'm going to listen to you by a so time.
Thank you.
Because a lot of people will say that, why are you saying all these things? A lot of my friends will say, why am I listening to Nigerian news? To be honest with you, most of us here, we are not here because we want to be here. Our minds are back home. But just because there is nothing back home, left us back home. So that is why we are just left here to manage with whatever we have here. There is no freedom abroad, you know that. You know. But in as much as it is, the problem is now, Maiyegun, what do we do? How do we carry out these things? Because all these things, you see, when I was a kid at the age of 3, my father always told us that Nigeria will never get better. At the age of 3. And as this time went on, we found out that he has a point. It's getting worse. There was a time he made a statement. He said that it's also 2014 or so, 1,900 was about 200 or 300,000, something like that. That's 900 pounds or dollars.
Those who are earning 300,000 naira around 2014, 2015 is more valuable than those who are earning 3 million naira today. And the math is very straightforward too. What you could buy with 300,000 naira in 2015, right? 3 million naira cannot buy it for you today.
Maiyegun, do you know that, like I said, do you know that when we look at it and see things that the more the value of the pound goes up, the more it is to our own advantage. If you go home, my friend who came back from the US just stayed 1 week in Nigeria, he called me and said also he went to Lagos to buy sweets with his children. He said also he couldn't buy anything and he saw 120,000 in his pocket. He now started asking himself, how are these people in this country surviving? So this thing happened to me when I went to Nigeria in April. I said, when I was buying something and they summed it up to about 60-something thousand, I looked at what I was buying. I now said to myself, is this how Nigeria is now? One man by the side started laughing. So my brother, now so we see a move.
You know that time when you say you go give your pikin 50 naira to go to school, right?
Exactly.
And they enter bus, right? 10 naira or 15 naira to 15 naira back. They use 20 naira during their lunch break, right? Today in Nigeria, parents are giving their children 1,000 naira, 1,500 naira to go to school. And guess what? 700 naira for transportation or 800 naira to and fro. And then you are like, sometimes you say, because there's no money for transportation, children don't go to school.
My friend in Yorubas said that they pay and fro is about 1,250 naira go to school a day. So what he does is that the guy goes to school 3 times and the remaining 2 days he stays at home. Now, what do we do? I said, you're making, there's a point you made today from what you said, that those politicians, the so-called mega party, that there is something they should bring out their supporters. I know where you're going to, and I know you don't want to just open up and say something, but that is what we need to do.
That is why I'm like, if any one of them is saying they are coming together, preparing to form a coalition, and none of them is ready to actually move out their supporters who are actually Nigerians, who are victims of this, this APC. If you are afraid of asking your supporters to hit the street and make a demand, there's no point in asking them to go and get voters card. That's deceitful. Waste of time.
You know, the funny thing is that everybody should just, instead of coming out even to protest, everybody should bring out their cars and block the streets and just go. Bring out your cars and block the streets and go. But the funny thing is that if you do that, the so-called the people that you're doing it for will come out and vandalize your car and steal from your car. That is a problem we have. It happens in some countries. Just block your road. You go to the airport, you block road, nobody goes and nobody comes in. Leave it there. And let's see how it works. They will come out and talk. My brother, I feel so saddened. I wouldn't lie to you. I feel so saddened. But look at what you were saying. The police that are meant to protect you, they are the ones doing the kidnapping. The Navy that are supposed to protect the territorial waters are the ones aiding and abetting the movement of all this fire. The army who are we going to turn to?
The DSS, they were supposed to discover a crime before they ever happened, right? They are looking at those.
They are looking for
those who are saying something about politicians.
Exactly. Exactly.
The Navy that are supposed to prevent, to protect the waterways in Nigeria, they are the ones aiding and abetting bunkers. Soldiers who are supposed to go after armed people, they are there fighting over who is going to protect us. The bunkers. Custom who are supposed to keep us safe from harmful stuff getting into the country, they are the ones sharing slot with smugglers. Who are we going to turn to?
That is the problem. My brother, I am tired. There was something you said. You said that somebody said it depresses her, so she goes off and she comes in. Like you already said, whether you like it or not, if you come back after 2 months, it's still the same problem. You're facing the same problem.
I mean, you say you are
So it's
taking a
either you
break from
listen to
Maiyegun,
it.
which I approve of, right? But that too means that even if you come back in 3 months' time, it's going to be something even possibly worse than the last thing you heard when you left. It's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
So if there's
Look at
anyone
the
who has, if
refinery.
there are those who have the capacity to actually really change something right now, there should be those who are looking forward to 2027. Nobody should, Obasanjo said it, nobody should be preparing for 2027 in this kind of situation that Nigeria is in right now. If you can't fight it right now, it doesn't mean that you are going to fight for the people, even if they come out to vote for you and they steal the vote. It doesn't mean that you are going to fight for them. You are all probably going to say you want to go to court.
Maiyegun, let me say one last thing before I go off. Do you know that if Nigerians want to change Nigeria, they can?
Yes, now.
It's very easy. It is very easy. All these things we are saying, it is very easy. If Nigerians mean business and say, we're going to change this thing now and decide to move, my brother, these people take to their heels. I'm telling you the truth.
I know.
But, like I said, it is okay. I will keep listening. In any way, we will always keep listening and hoping. Exactly.
We shall see.
No problem.
Maybe somehow, what we are doing on this platform, it may not be giving this, immediate reactions, right? It could be very slow, all right? But with our consistency, some of them probably are working around something similar to what we are projecting. So we'll give it time without stopping. Stanley Baba, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Interesting. So again, when people ask what is the solution, most of people who ask that, they are mostly the people who are one Nigerianist. When people ask me that, what do you think is the solution to Nigeria problem? I'm like, the number one solution is to break up the contraption, break it up. But I strongly believe in that. But from my own research, right, you can't break up Nigeria if you don't get the supposed victims of Nigeria on your side. Do you understand what I mean? That you see, the people, a lot of people are so ignorant that they do not want to try anything new. Okay? So until we reach that critical mass where either people side with those who wants to break the entire system to give them a Nigeria that possibly will represent them, or you get the people on our side, those who wants to break up the country on, or once either of us reach that critical mass, then you can activate any action that will indeed change the status quo. But the people who I think have a bit of what can be done, the wherewithal right now, they are the criminal politicians themselves, or the fairer ones, the likes of Obi, the likes of Showore, maybe a little bit of that of Atiku too, the good, the bad, the ugly. You get what I mean? Because in the process, they will pay some prices too. Everything that the system has given to them will likely also be sacrificed. Something that I believe is why they have been held back. Atiku is a generational sort of criminal who has been in the system for so long and he's been rewarded greatly, or he rewarded himself greatly. So if he comes and pull rank with others, in the process, he will sacrifice, he will lose a lot of what Nigeria, or he has kind of stolen from Nigeria too. Peter Obi will also lose some of the privileges that he, as one of the elites, has managed to keep for himself. He will lose them. So that simply means that they would need to be ready to sacrifice some of the things that gives them comfort for this system to work. So either way, hello.
So that simply means that the day. Hello, Maiyegun.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yes, sir. It's been a while, Joe. It seems to suddenly have turned to a silent watcher in the last couple of days.
Yeah, I had to go silent because I was involved in certain things that I needed to concentrate a bit more to get them out of the way.
Okay, fair enough. And now you're back. Please.
Obviously, I'm just gonna hit one of the biggest issues. Like I say, you keep chipping on you're chipping on the back of the wood, and you're beginning to get deeper and deeper into the wood. The Referendum to me is doing the same thing.
So we can't wait for the entire thing to fall with a big bang. Then
it has to fall either one way or the other. To be honest with you, for those people that feel depressed and say Nigeria will never work, Nigeria can work. Nigeria is a perfect society. It has worked before. It worked before. It worked before independence. It worked after independence.
Yeah, right.
The system that worked in Nigeria was a system based on merit before the introduction of federal character system. The system that worked in Nigeria was a system of confederalism, where each federating unit controlled their resources and had their own, I'll say, federating government.
You're right.
And for those that are old enough like us, I remember that the Western region owned the embassy here in London.
Yes.
And the Eastern region was more affiliated to America.
That's right.
While the North was affiliated to the UK and partly to the Americans. Because they didn't have no alliance, and they're also keen to be close to the French on the Arab League. And I'm just going deeper. However, the Nigeria we have now is a Nigeria where somebody comes in with quota system qualification, get two to get a WAEC, get pass two courses in WAEC, and become the head of service. How do you expect that person to analyze a report? And one of the biggest problems you're having, Maiyegun, let me tell you the truth, is that you have people, you're trying to convince an audience that think in a binary, way, in a unitary way instead of binary way. When I say unitary way, when you go, most people here are Nigerians, they have friends that are Nigerians, they have family members that are Nigerians. Call somebody that is doing something wrong in Nigeria and tell him this thing you're doing is wrong. And he will not even listen to you finish that conversation. He will tell you.
Before you're trying to force what aboutism? What about that one? Am I the only one doing it? What about?
It's not. If you're going too far. You're going too far. The first after that, what about anyway? Next thing is you're trying to force and sign Magari. My pastor said. My imam said. My godfather said. So this your godfather now. Just watch the way of thinking of a typical Nigerian. This your pastor that said, has he done that thing that I'm telling you is the right way? Your pastor has no experience. He just saw a video on YouTube and is giving you an advice and you're believing it. Your imam saw a video on YouTube and he give you an advice, you believe it. Your godfather, they do not have the critical ability to pick up the paper and read it. For example, I've read the tax law, the Tinubu'S tax law. That tax law is a good tax law.
Right.
It's converting Nigeria back to the old federalism system. Confederating system, sorry. But through the back door. If that tax law goes through, you keep most of your money. Go and I have done a review of it for some people asked me to do a review for you on the private chat. And I told them this is if you earn 1 million under the current tax law and you earn 1 million under the new tax law, you will keep more of your 1 million than you would do if the new tax law goes through. These are the things that when you want to criticize the policy, you criticize it based on the positive and negative side of the policy.
Right.
However, the problem we have in Nigeria is if you implement that tax law, the old Western region and the old Eastern region will become more prosperous. but Tinubu still controls most of his Lagos
It takes
and
his
other
own
parts.
share from it. That's the difference.
Thank you. Tinubu wants to introduce his own company that will be taking that tax on behalf of government. In front of the FRS, it will become Nigerian.
Give the chunk to these places where the money is made than
Thank
the
you.
sharing formula where rob Peter to pay Paul. It's kind of.
Thank you. The problem you have is, like I said earlier, that imam that is busy talking about tax law, what qualification does he have to justify him being able to analyze the tax law? Are you seeing where that is why I say the Nigeria we have now will never work. The Nigeria we have now will not work. But if somebody like you bring that tax law here and you start reading it, explaining it to people one by one, the same people you're trying to explain it to will not listen to you. They will go back to that imam and listen to that version of his own. So that's why I say you're chipping at the I keep telling you, you're chipping on the tree. The tree is not going to fall, not because the tree cannot fall, but because you need to hit a critical mass of people that can critically think outside the unitary way of thinking to say, okay, this person is a bad person. I don't like you as a I'm not a fan of Tinubu, but he has something good he's offering. In this one, he's offering something good. Even though he's gonna eat from me through back door. But in another way, it's taking me closer to where I want to go. Because by the time you implement that tax law, you will now know which states are bankrupt and which states are not bankrupt.
And there will be a lot of them. I mean, it's only about 6 or 7 states in Nigeria that will be viable.
Thank you. When you now get to the point where states are viable now, when somebody open his mouth and tell you want to be head of service, you now say, come, you cannot be from a bankrupt state. I'm controlling the same service that I contribute more to. It begins to give you leverage through the back door. And I keep saying it. People say that the people in the system cannot take us to where we want to go. However, me, I tell people, the people within the system will keep making laws that will break the system up to the point where we that want to go to a positive area, maybe in my lifetime, obviously, I've gone past my 50s now, into my 60s. So if it is in my lifetime,
there's a chance that somehow this is good. I kind of said something similar to it. I said, if I leave the logical thinking of it to emotional thinking of it, like we have all said many times, of how much the North has grown so lazy enough to be dragging the rest of us backward. So this will make me align with what Tinubu is about to do, ignoring his own, his own jara that is about, making himself even more richer. Okay, but thing is that the northern Nigeria who have this mentality of born to rule, they might actually be getting to a stage of wrapping it up, and their interest in this one Nigeria may become reduced slowly and gradually until they feel like there's nothing to hold on to anymore.
Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that when the northern elites are talking, they tell you Nigerian oil. They don't tell you Zamfara. They don't tell you Nigerian gold. They don't tell you Nigerian mineral in the up north. Why do they do that? That the moment that tax law comes in, sometimes you may not like somebody. Go and read the policy and
so they will
understand.
have to declare their gold now.
Thank you.
They
Now you have to declare your gold in your own
uranium and other things that they are secretly mining illegally.
Thank you. And when they issue a mining license, we know where the mining license goes to. We know who owns the mining license in that state.
And if he's paying the tax to the states, if it's not, then it is now the duty of the states to go after them or go bankrupt.
Thank you. And not even that, it makes it easier for people like you now. What you're doing and going, you know what? Okay, the person in charge of repairing the Welu Road, the taxes you collect on the Welu Road goes to this particular manufacturing plant. Why is this road not being working? You start investigating. You give you narrowing. Unlike now, Nigeria, the system that the northern elite has succeeded in creating in Nigeria is what we call it's shrouded in so many secrecy through the military rule. Everything is federal. The moment that tax law comes in, we start beginning to see who state, like I said, who state is viable, who is not viable. Now, you can start beginning to campaign to go, you know what? If your state is not viable, you only send one senator that you can afford to pay to the federal house. If my state is viable, I send more senators. Which means I'm forcing you to start thinking inside the box to make your state viable.
That's right.
Or you pull out your state into another state.
So that's actually what got them so mad right now. And they said it is a total attack on the North. It is going to weaken them. It is going to bankrupt them. So me as a Southerner, if I want to become, you know, like
which
we
means,
have been preaching, let everybody control their resources, I will be like, then bring it on.
Thank you. And what that means, when I say, when you see what I'm saying now, we may not like the guy, but if he achieves this, he's indirectly taking you to like 80% of what you want to achieve by breaking it up.
Yep.
Because if you can control your resources, you can decide what you do with that resources.
That's right.
And you can decide when you're going to break it up.
Closer. That makes a lot of sense, by the way. But it is because the man running it is not a trustworthy person. But you're right. Let's see how far they can.
He's not going to live forever.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to live forever. That's one thing we put there. People like us are going to go and pass one day.
Eventually.
Once upon a time,
yep.
If you call IBB's name in Nigeria, they say I'm Maradona. Once upon a time, Abacha was a feared name.
Yep.
Once upon a time, even this Idiagbon was a feared name in Nigerian household. They all come and gone. I probably may not be, like I said, I may not benefit from it. But I'm looking at it from a point of view of, okay, you know what? I don't like this guy. Yep. But this thing is breaking. Is it helping me to achieve my target?
Getting us
because the moment that policy goes through, the moment that policy goes through, the Yoruba nation, the Biafra nation will not realize, wait, when we open this bank account, we've been, at least it will be family bank account too. But I can't look and say, me, they contribute 80,000. You, they contribute only 1,000. And you want to be managing director. Okay, calm down now. How you want to be managing director?
We cannot run it this way anymore. Okay.
We cannot run it this way anymore. It's either I continue to be your managing director, or you go make your own money to bring your own money, make it equivalent to my own. Then we go run it that way. Then you will see that people will begin to sit up. You will not. People will begin to realize, wait, I don't need to go to Lagos to get a job. I can be in my state and get a job.
Yes.
And that is the part I'm looking at it from. I may not like the guy, but that's the part I'm looking at that policy from. And that's why the North is always keen. If the North,
you know what somebody said, if the North is mad, seriously mad the way they are, then maybe it's a good thing. I was like, okay, we shall see.
The question is, if the North is mad the way they are, that means we have been suffering in the way it is now.
We shall see. Thank you so much, okay, for actually adding that, all right? On this platform, we have the chance of looking at things from all perspectives, right? Which is what makes us very, 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 like, you know, interesting, I would say. So thank you so much for stopping by. I shall speak to you again, sir. You have a good one.
And you too, bye.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye. So, Baby Rose, I got your coffees, because it's like, and that's quite generous of you, right? To get me the many, many cups. If to say this whole thing is actually like they are bringing me coffees from, you know, from Costa, I'll probably become a coffee addict. You guys are so generous this evening, and I appreciate that, okay? So, and you're like the general. Great work. Thank you so much. And then, yeah, the message to talk to, I bet is reading it. All of you are engaging yourself in the comment section as we speak. So bless you. Here is Prince Adebayo from Sweden.
My king.
Yes, sir.
My king.
The prince.
My king. Thank you for picking. I'm fine, Baba. Baba, I'm very grateful for the way you present your programs. Honestly, every day you add blood tonic to my day. You know. I don't know what I'm
doing. And thank you so much for the support as well, you know.
Please keep doing it.
Pastor will say, I'm
telling you,
if there is no GO. You know that now.
I'm telling you.
So I can be talking to myself every evening. So I am so grateful for the kind of audience I have as well. All of you.
I'm telling you, Baba, now for this YouTube, now we catch our own joy.
You get
now, so we will grow together. I tell you, that's how we will grow together. Otherwise, if we don't see you for this YouTube, our situation becomes something.
I know. Do you know that I didn't want to come on tonight? Prince, you know, it was like end of the month anyway. You know, let everybody go rest. And then I was like, man, I have this few stuff I wanted to talk about. And I don't think it's ideal to actually move it to a new month. Okay, new month starts tomorrow. So okay, I'm going to come. And I'm glad I did.
Yes, Baba.
Thank you so much.
You know, this...
Go on.
Yes, Baba. This tax problem, this tax bill,
yes, sir.
It's God that's indirectly using Tinubu. Tinubu did not... So. Yes. He did not go into that.
Many vices. So, but this particular one, something is directing him. And go on.
Yes. You know, what the common citizen of Nigeria has been saying from day one is remove power from the center. You understand?
Right.
If you remove power from the center and make it a regional kind of government, a lot of states or a lot of regions will develop. But what Tinubu is trying to do is to add more power to the center. You know, he wants to take more money because he has seen that money is not coming in from oil as before. Now they need to use tax to, you know, increase their own revenue. That's right. So the only way they want to do is by tweaking the system so that it will encourage states or regions to perform more, so that as they perform, they will gain. So they are taking the money. This tax is going to remove money from the illegal hands. That's all those state governments that are not allowing the funds to get to the center.
The source where they are not declaring.
Yeah,
most of them that they have privatized.
Exactly.
So now they would have to declare them. Right.
Yeah, exactly. In order for them to be viable, they need to declare them. Otherwise, if they are not viable, if they bring 1 naira, they will divide that 1 naira with the federal.
And now,
then the federal will give them their own.
You understand? So they will take 60%.
Yes, exactly. It's not viable for the state because there are so many undeclared profits, and they are putting most of this, especially the northern governors, they are putting their states in deep mess in order to be getting that backyard illegal funds from gold and lithium and all those other things. Tinubu went to France now.
Yes.
What France is looking for, 90% of what France is looking for is in those northern middle
states.
Belt areas.
Right.
Yeah. So if Tinubu want to deal with them, Baba, he will just reignite that Niger problem and send military there. They will not rest. They will just stand still. And you know that kind of war is a war of attrition. What you call it will last for, it can never end, you know. That's one point Tinubu can use, but I'm not sure he's looking for that. But that is one of his game plan. But the one I'm sure of is that he wants to increase money that's coming to the center, so that, you know, the center, that's where he is. The center will be more viable. But what I'm seeing is God is using him to do this so that by the next time, season, you know, after it's 8 years, another one will come. By the time they want to revenge, they will now tweak it again. Say all the companies that are mining in this area, this region, must be headquartered here. Sure, you see now that everything is now going back to basics. You understand? If you tweak it now, all the oil companies will go and locate themselves.
To the Niger Delta. All those ones who are also mining illegally, they would have to be declared legal so that they can collect money from them to run their states.
Exactly. Exactly. So you see now, but the key one that benefits Tinubu both locally and nationally is that value-added tax, because no matter how you tweak it, the Southwest is where everybody wants to be. So whether you like it or not, you will pay that value-added tax. Lagos, Ogun, all the Southwest states, they will develop faster before any other state, before any other region in that country, because it stretches from Lagos.
If they actually really use the money for the people, that's another argument entirely, right?
They will be forced.
I think your point is very valid. Your point is valid in the sense that Tinubu's arrangement is we are not sharing this money with anybody anymore. Okay, once we take from Lagos, we give Lagos 60% back. We keep 40%. Whatever we take from the state, we give them 60%. This is no longer like we take from Lagos, take from everybody, put it in a jar, and then redistribute to everybody anymore. No. It's what you gain. We take from your state. Now, we'll give you 60%, we take 40%.
And Tinubu knows that the Southeast, they're just waiting that They ain't go just happen like this. They just say, okay, it's short. Let's do it regionally. You know, everybody, South go even happy pass. Let's do it by the geopolitical zones. Everybody, every company you have, you go from there. They give us. They will so love it. You know, he knows that you have. You don't need to convince those ones. But the North, they are now
Do you know there's
because this is
that I think I should remind everybody as well that Tinubu just did as well, and that is creating the geopolitical zone commissions. Do you remember that? They are right now, even though you have states, right? He has created 6 geopolitical zone commissions, and they're like regional governments on their own. Do you know that? That he has created.
Yes, I know. The Southeast Commission has already full.
Let me list
they are thanking him for that. They are thanking him so much.
He has created the North Central Development Commission, Northeast Development Commission, Northwest Development Commission, Southwest Development Commission, Southeast Development Commission, and then a South-South Development Commission. Now, he has given them, he has in his budget of 2025, each commission will receive nothing less than 4 trillion naira or so from what they are doing. Now, that 4 trillion naira is like he has created his own shadow government for these regions. That if things turn out somehow later, and then everybody want to go regional, right? So he can just say, well, they've set up the system that will lead everybody to the regional system. I'm just saying, just to add it to this conversation too, that one is happening right now.
Exactly.
And one thing that next year.
Yes. And you know, one thing that is working for Tinubu is that if they not do gra too much, he go just relax, they go just go regional. He will still benefit.
If any state become insolvent, right, that they are bankrupt, they will just tell the Regional Development Commission to take over, Abi.
Exactly, take over or merge, you know. So indirectly, God is using this guy because there's no way to trick him. He knows that, and you know, don't forget, since this man has been traveling, this journey to France, the first time I saw serious people around him. Do you see the names around our heavyweight katapata low one there? The heavyweight katapata. You be a chairman, a Dangote, a Jimovia. You know, Bua was there. Bua that is here and the Dangote don't agree. You know, all the heavyweight katapata. That means there's something serious.
So they are all going to be interested in any extraction and the rest of that. Okay.
Baba. Yes. Baba. Let me leave it there because this thing is still unraveling, but it is sweet by heart now.
We shall. Thank you so much, Prince. Okay. Let me take one more before we call it a night. And the person that is likely going to be for us this evening is going to be Adeza. Sir.
Good evening, my brother.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing today?
I am very well. Thanks for asking. Please.
Thank you for the enlightenment. Hello.
Yeah, I'm with you. Please go on.
Yeah, I want to start from Kaduna State.
Yes, sir.
Most time when you see what is happening, you begin to ask the question: what kind of leader do we have in Nigeria? The bandits or the Boko Haram who have killed families. Most of these families, the survivor. As I'm telling her, they are in IDP. The people in IDP, I will not mention a particular state. I was in North Central before I came here.
Right.
I know a particular place I stay. All the money that they are releasing to IDP, the manager using to build estate, build property here and there. Every time they receive allocation, because just a direct neighbor to us, they have one small NGO, which they use as a coverage. They will go and buy this plastic rubber. They are used to share rice, 2 cups, 3 cups, and all those Indomie and put it in a basket. That's what they're going to share to these people until another allocation comes. These people that the bandit, whatever name given to them, had killed their parents, even their children. They live to the few ones that survive. They are in IDP suffering. In fact, if you go to IDP, you won't be able to eat that throughout that day because of the kind of situation, no toilet, no water. They are just like that. Understand? The same people who have killed this family and dehumanized the remaining one, arrested and say you are bringing them back to the site using taxpayers' money to take care of these guys. The same thing the so-called professor did in Borno State. Understand? You have educated to the point of becoming a professor. To an ordinary man, understand, you should be at the peak that you should not be doing things that does not make sense. You release them back to the society. The taxpayer money, you are using to take care of them. And the people, they destroy their life and their destiny. They are still suffering. You will not be able to build a house to bring those people back to their community. They are now living as a fugitive. Yet, these people, you will now use taxpayers' money, even pay them salary, say you are rehabilitated to the community. Sometimes I look, where is the law enforcement agency in Nigeria that the police will be looking at them doing this, the DSS and other security agents who are supposed to say, no, these are not done in a civilized world. Most of them, they've been traveling to countries over countries, and they're saying this is happening. But one thing I'm going to assure them tonight is that they and their children too, they are not safe. Do you understand?
I'm with you.
They are empowered to be. They can't be in power forever.
No, they can't.
See, in one of your clips just now, you said when the bandits were raging after the Boko Haram left office, Boko Haram left office, they have to smuggle him out of the. If not, they could kill him.
Security reasons. That was no longer safe.
It will not be forever. Most of them, in the next 2 years, they will not be in government. They will become a victim of what they are seeing happening now. What they're supposed to do, they refuse to do, and they are watching it and it's happening. Tomorrow, these people, they will become a tongue in their own flesh. Their children, even their property, that mansion they have built, they will not be able to stay there. They will not be able. Because I never hear this kind of thing that somebody who have killed and destroyed.
That's a very, very vital point you just raised. These people spend so much rehabilitating murderers, terrorists, but they are not doing the same thing to the victims of terrorism. IDP camps scattered all over northern Nigeria. Children are subjected to the most inhumane treatment ever. And there is no dedication from these guys, the way they are dedicated to rehabilitating terrorists.
If you go Benue, my brother, if you go Benue, if you go Jos, if you go Kaduna, I'm telling you, you won't be able to taste food that day.
God.
I'm telling you, you will see pain. You will see pain. You see the IDP in question. Some of them are just a abandoned primary school. Some of them are just the way they put canopy. No toilet, no water, nothing. And the same people you are now saying you are now rehabilitating them. And the people they have dehumanized, they have made their life useless. Destroy their career, their destiny. Understand? You let them inside the bush. And you're saying, I take care of criminals. And the Nigerian government, the institution that's supposed to say no to this, they are looking. And they think they are safe too. Those who in Buhari administration, they are no longer there now. They are now, they don't have more security to follow them now. So this is how it will be. They themselves, they will fall by the sword of these people. It's just with time. It's unfortunate that the people supposed to stand up, they are not standing. There's some religious leader. It's because we still have Nigeria together. That's why they can still build mosque, they can still build church. By the time everything, because we are getting to that point, there is a generation or there is a group of people they will not be able to defeat. Like those who are looking for 2027, just as we always said, you see, the right thing that need to be done, they refuse to do it. They are just playing here and there. It's not about the mega party. It's not about nothing. Even without what will be do sometime, I don't like it. Understand? Without all those mega party, he won the election. Everybody know. Understand? It's not about the mega. People actually believe in him. Do you understand? Without emerging together, last time he won the election to the point that the INEC has to switch off the INEC. You understand? It's not. I just have to be straightforward and be straightforward with Nigerians and make sure that the people who claim to be opposition in the house, they should stand up this thing that the INEC, the reform of INEC and the rest of them, the institution that need to be actually turned around should be turned around.
Conducted again in that place. I mean,
otherwise,
people have seen what happened in Kogi, Edo, and then Ondo. So why is anyone still convinced that there's going to be election in 2027? That is what I don't understand.
What need to be done, they refuse to do it. They are just beating around the bush. And the end will come, because when the time is reached, they will release the army into the street, they will release police into the street, they will release DSS, and whatever they call, everybody will go and hide again. It continue another 4 years. That's what they are doing, because they have seen that the people are taking fear for faith. See what people are taking fear for faith. My brother, God bless you. Keep on doing the good job.
Thank you so much, Ade.
All right.
All right. I appreciate you, and I will always do. You have a good night, okay? Thank you so much. I read a comment where somebody said, Maiyegun is reasoning very right this evening. Listen, I am not Mr. Know-it-all. When I spend my own first 2 hours, it is to tell you what I know. All right? And then the next hour after that is to engage with other people's opinion and what have you. So I am not going to force my opinion on you. And that is why on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, you should not become, a bit unruly simply because you don't agree with what I say, which is your prerogative. So call in or, drop your own idea without being salty and all that, okay? I do not have to agree with my callers. I do not have to argue with my callers, right? All I have to do is kind of like, for the sake of our listeners or everybody, all of you, to make it more interesting is to let you know that other opinions also count. And if people are seeing things from a different perspective, it is ideal for them to express it. It is not mine, right? To sort of interrupt them in a way that would be so, I don't know, that would be pretty much like unreasonable or so, okay? So for people who believes that Tinubu can be given a benefit of the doubt, they have the right to feel that way. And all they have to do is just to present the argument like everyone just did now. And you, our viewers, you agree with some, you won't agree with others. That's the interesting thing about MaiyegunsDiary Politico. So if you look at me and you think I am somebody who wants his opinion to be this, that means you are just a biased person who would never like me. Apart from that, right? If your view about situation is different from mine, I will be so grateful to you to call in and share it. And I will listen. I will engage you. I will partly agree with you just for the sake of our listeners. And that's the reason why we spend 3 hours on MaiyegunsDiary Politico almost every night, to let everybody express themselves, right? And let the people be the judge. Whatever you make of all the information you found on this platform is totally yours. But one thing we try to do is to make sure that ignorance is totally defeated, right? Which means ignorance should be a choice. People can't say, I didn't know that. Oh, I've never heard of that. On MaiyegunsDiary Politico, you will hear, you will see, and then will likely kill the ignorance too. Right? Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for your time. I appreciate your time with me this evening. I am going to see you next month in the next few hours. So please, our time is up. And remember, you can still like this broadcast, subscribe to my channel, right? Share it as well. And if you joined us late, you can watch this broadcast from the start again to cover up from where you missed. And from myself to you, I will say good night to everyone. And I will see you again. Good night.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun number 1. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun number 1. Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. MaiyegunDiary. àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. MaiyegunDiary Naibi #1. bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí. MaiyegunDiary Naibi #1. ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. MaiyegunDiary Naibi #1. MaiyegunDiary Diary Politico. MaiyegunDiary Naibi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. MaiyegunDiary Naibi #1. ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. MaiyegunDiary Naibi #1. àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dódòdó. MaiyegunDiary Naibi #1. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun